And just one. I'm just curious if after when you decided not to take that fight, what you felt like when you saw how many people were defending your decision.
I thought it was awesome. I mean, there was a lot of that going on with people not making weight, and I felt like it was becoming a thing. Like people were doing it on purpose to get an advantage on it. Unless you've cut the weight, you won't know what it actually feels like to really suffer through that. And if your opponent doesn't do it with you, there's a difference. There's a big difference. So it was cool to have the fans and everybody behind me with that, because that was going on, I feel like, a little too much. And hopefully it would have stopped. Well, recently there was a fighter that the same thing happened to him, and I don't think he took the fight, which was cool. I think more guys should do that. If you say you're going to be this weight, you better show up being that weight. You got to show honor and integrity and do it.
Steven over here.
Yes, sir.
Steven, curious.
Hey, Steven. Just curious about the main event. Do you have a prediction, kind of a pick, and who you think is going to win that?
Man, people are going to say it's wrong, but I feel like, you know, from looking at the Usman and Colby fight, we saw what happened there. And then we saw what happened with Leon and Usman. Obviously, Usman was winning the first until he wasn't. But that goes to show that Leon is just as good in the fifth round as he is in the first. He's got great takedown defense. He's also got a gas tank. I know Colby Covington is notorious for that. But I feel like Colby and Usman are very similar fighters, and I think Usman is the better of that, and Leon defeated him. Now, going into the second fight, I feel that Usman wasn't mentally there. I think that last knockout, scared him, and I think he was a little too hesitant in that fight. He didn't look the same. So that Colby Covington doesn't have that, you know. So I think he's going to be on Leon's face the entire time. I think he's going to try to tire him out, but I do believe that Leon's striking, he's the bigger opponent as well, so I think he's going to be able to defend the takedown a little bit easier. Not saying he's not going to get taken down, but I do believe he'll get back up to his feet and keep the fight standing, and I think Leon will pick him apart.
Kind of tying into that, I know Bilal's kind of in the mix as well, and there's a lot of big stakes in your fight. But when you envision yourself going for that title, is there somebody that you want to have on that poster with you and sitting up at press conferences and somebody you think would get the fans excited? Is there one of those three guys?
Man, it's definitely Leon. I mean, everybody, Leon's faced a ton of grapplers, so have I, but people want to see people get punched and kicked in the face, and I feel like that would be a great title fight. Me and Leon, if he wins it, of course. If not, then you know, I still would like to face him, even if he's ranked #1. I would love to fight him. I think that would put on a good show. Not saying that he wouldn't eventually try to take me down. I think he will definitely do that. That's an option for everybody that faces me. But I feel like I got him. I feel like I can take him out, man.
Stephen over here. Just to follow up on Amy's question about what happened in your last fight, did that kind of affect your thought process and what opponent you're going to be facing for the rest of your career?
No, not really. Not really. You know, this was something that happened to me prior in Liverpool, and I told myself then I would never let this happen again. So when it did, I stuck to my guns, and I was like, I'm not going to fight this guy. And it didn't really affect me mentally, to be honest with you. It was very disappointing that I wasn't able to fight in front of the fans. Everybody was looking forward. Stylistically, everybody wanted to see this fight. And I had a lot of people from South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, coming to that fight, and they weren't able to see me fight. So it was very disappointing. And to be able to go through a full training camp and nothing to show for it, really, but improvement, obviously. So I was more disappointed in that than anything else.
Ian Gary is a guy who called you out after his last fight. He's on this card fighting Vicente Luque. What do you think of his situation and his chances against Vicente Luque?
Man, I would love to see, you know, I think this is going to be a great fight for sure, and I've already faced against Vicente Luque. I think Vicente has the skills to be able to win, but I feel that Ian Gary's a very intelligent fighter. I think he's going to go my route and try to pick him apart, use his range, use his reach. His distance management is really, really high level, so I think he can come out with the W for sure.
Thank you.
Steven?
Yes, sir.
Wondering, final season of Cobra Kai coming up. Can we expect another cameo from you in the final season?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the phone call. So the last time I was in Cobra Kai, obviously they decided to do. I was supposed to have a big fight scene, right? But they ended up doing it the week I was supposed to. I was in Vegas for fighting Bilal, so I wasn't able to do it. So they kept me in there as a little cameo. So they told me they were going to bring me back for like a big fight scene at the last season. So we'll see. I hope so. I mean, I'm known as the karate guy in the UFC. So what better guy to have in Cobra Kai than me? So I'm still waiting on that phone call, but I hope it happens.
There's a lot more talk about Michael Venom Page coming to the UFC. I know you've got your own goals, but is that one of those fights that, you know what, under the UFC spotlight, the two masters are controlling the distance? Is that one that kind of needs to happen at some point?
I think that the fans would love to see that fight, but coming from a karate background and me and him have hung out with each other a few times. That's not a guy I would want to fight, I would say, but it would be a good stylistic fight, I presume. I mean, he's very tough. He knows how to manage his dip. He's very quick. He's tall. He's lanky, kind of like Izzy. But, yeah, man, I don't think I would want to fight him.
Thank you.
Hi, Steven. I'm here. It's absolutely true that in Kazakhstan all people are waiting for your fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov. But my question is about you. After last fight against Kevin Holland, you said that it's feeling like you are 25 years old. What can you say today before you fight against Shavkat?
Same thing. I feel like I'm young. I feel like I can still go out there and show the world that I'm capable of being the champ. So my goal is to go out there this Saturday and prove that against one of the toughest guys in the division that everybody's saying is going to be the next champ. I love watching Shavkat fight. He's a very, very, very good human being, very, very good martial artist. So when I got the call to fight him, I'm like, what better guy to show the world that I can still do it than Shavkat. So I'm looking forward to a banger, man. I think the fans are looking forward to this fight as well. Even though I'm the underdog, I'm going to go out there and get my hand raised at the end of the fight.
Back here, Steven.
Yes, sir.
You have tons of high-level experience. Do you feel like Shavkat's game resembles anyone's that you've already faced?
Like I said, Rory McDonald was very good everywhere. Not just a striker, but also a grappler, good grappler as well. I've fought strictly grapplers like Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad, but those guys kind of went a route that wasn't fun for me or for the fans, to be honest with you. It was an exciting fight. Shavkat Rakhmonov is a guy that's going to try to finish you, right? Which makes for more of an exciting fight. Nobody wants to see anybody just get held down, but I feel like Shavkat's not that guy. He's going to try to go out there and finish me. So I feel like it's going to be a more of an exciting fight than that. He's going to start standing up. Eventually, he's going to try to get me to the ground. But it reminds me of the Rory McDonald fight. So, Rory McDonald was great everywhere. I mean, he was a full-fledged, mixed martial artist when there were still specialists in the game, which was the era I come from, where just, striking and you had a grappler or you just had a wrestler. But now everybody's putting it all together. So that's who he reminds me of.
And then also wanted to ask you, sticking to your guns, not taking the last fight, ultimately in this position where you're facing a top 5 guy, do you feel like everything worked out positively for you?
I think so. I think my management team, Paradigm, did a great job, working through that whole situation. And we got this fight, man. If it wasn't for my team, this wouldn't happen. So they're awesome, man. They did it all. I didn't have to do anything, really, but just say yes.
Thank you. That was it for me.
Yes, sir.
Wonder over here. At this stage in your career, what are some of those key things that you feel about yourself that you've noticed that have gotten better throughout the years, other than the experience you have gained?
Man, I mean, actually, what you just said, the experience, but I feel like my mindset going into the octagon and how I see things in the octagon right now, like more clearly than before. When before it was everything was happening so fast, it was hard to figure things out, but now I can kind of slow it down and really pick and choose my what I'm going to throw, what I'm defending with. And I think that has a lot to do with how we train as well. I mean, earlier on, you know, the training was very hard. It was what I mean by that with the sparring and the grappling was very hard. And I spent years, and I think this is why I'm 40 still doing this, is, you know, we take care of our bodies when we train. You know, when we spar, you know, we get fully geared up. We're not hitting hard to the head. We're still working, but we're being smarter with our training. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that's one of the things that has helped me get to where I am today is not just how I fight in the cage, but the training leading up to it has changed a lot.
Awesome. And I saw you mention there that, that you had a lot of people out there waiting to see you fight against Michel Pereira. Unfortunately, they couldn't see that. Did you bring some people out to this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, every time that I fight, there's always some coming from Greenville or Simpsonville, my hometown, to come watch me fight. So it's really cool that, you know, they're coming out to support me, which is awesome. Always puts a smile on my face. And that's another reason for me to go out there and just another reason for me to give it all I got.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
How are you?
I'm good, very good.
I have to ask, like, obviously it's been 12 months since we last saw you, even at Media Day. So I guess how's the last 12 months been for you? How's camp been? And physically, how are you feeling after ankle surgery?
Yeah, the first couple of months were tough, obviously, knowing that I had to get surgery. I ended up getting surgery in March, and then I couldn't, like, walk properly for a couple of weeks. And then I had, like, a long recovery, you know what I mean? I had a boot on my leg until mid-May, so that was about 12 weeks. And my foot got infected and everything, so I ended up in hospital for 2 nights. It was a rough one, to be honest, lad, but at the end of May I got married, so everything perked up from there. You know what I mean? The second half of the year's been much better. I haven't been as depressed or nothing, but especially when you get a fight announced as well, you've got a goal, you've got something to look forward to. And then obviously I found out that my missus is pregnant with twins, so I've got something extra to fight for now.
Kind of going off of the first part when you're saying like the infection and everything, was there any part of you that thought maybe you wouldn't be able to fight this year just based on everything that was physically happening?
Yeah, when I first got the surgery, lad, I was in pain sitting in the house for about a week or two. You know what I mean? I couldn't go upstairs. I was sleeping on the couch downstairs because I couldn't physically get up the stairs. It was tough. You know what I mean? Then obviously about 6 weeks in, when I got like the proper cast and stuff off my foot and had a boot on, I had to go to hospital because my foot got infected. And as I say, where I've got artificial ligaments now, they said if the infections reach the ligaments, we're going to have to do the whole surgery over again. Luckily enough, the infection hadn't reached the artificial ligaments, so I didn't have to do that over again, and here we are.
And then you mentioned obviously not being able to train and you felt depressed and everything. I'm sure you saw Alex Volkanovski's comments after his last loss where he just said like not having a fight lined up, just not having something to work on, just kind of weighed mentally on his head. Could you kind of relate to what he was saying?
Yeah, 100%. Alex is spot on. When you haven't got like a date or a fight to focus on, as a fighter, you don't know what to do with yourself. You know what I mean? When I was sitting on the couch for 2 months, I was just like, wow, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? You're just sitting there with your own thoughts, and it's not nice, to be honest. It's really not nice. So the fact that I had my wedding to look forward to, and then after that I could get back in the gym. You know what I mean? I started training again in like June, and I've just been focused on training since. So like June, July, August, September, I was just training to get myself better. You know what I mean? Get back in fight shape, get myself better, and I kept my weight down a bit.
And when they came to you with Tony, was that kind of best case scenario for you? Like obviously one of the more popular names in UFC history and trying to erase the image of last fight against a big, exciting name like Tony Ferguson?
Yeah, of course. As I always say, I'll never say no to a fight. So when his name was on the contract, I signed it. The funny thing was there was a fake card going around, wasn't there, for UFC 296 with like McGregor on and O'Malley, and it was me versus Tony. So I was getting asked by everyone, "You're fighting Tony Ferguson? You're fighting Tony Ferguson?" I was like, "Nah, you know, lad, nah." And then literally 4 weeks later or something, I got a contract through with Tony's name on. But yeah, as I say, it's an honour to be able to fight Tony Ferguson, one of the best lightweights of all time. When I was a kid watching the UFC at like 15, 16, when I just started training, like he was in the UFC then. I was watching him fight then, so it's like that cliche saying, when your heroes become your rivals. But it's one of them, lad. Even I want to see Tony go out on a win, but I can't let him do it at my expense, lad. It's not happening.
Then in his fight, like especially against like his Justin Gaethje fight, he was pretending to throw sand. He was doing all of this other odd things in there. So did you see that, and how do you prepare for something like so unexpected like that?
Someone mentioned this before. Actually, I'll have to pretend to be a wizard and get a wand out. You know what I mean? If he starts doing all that.
I watched the interview and you said you're not expecting like the slow Tony Ferguson that showed up against Bobby Green. So while you're watching this as a fan, are you just noticing like every fight to fight, like Tony's speed and everything is drastically kind of dwindling at this point?
Yeah, of course. But that's what happens when you get to that age. You know what I mean? He's 40 in a few months, and I think over the years he's relied on his athleticism and his speed to get him out of certain situations, and obviously when you get to 39 you lose all that. But I've trained for the Tony what turned up against Donald Cerrone and Anthony Pettis and Edson Barboza and Kevin Lee. You know what I mean? I haven't prepared for the Tony what turned up against Bobby Green and Nate Diaz.
Last one for me, obviously, since your last fight, the British and English MMA scene has kind of exploded with Leon and Tom and everything. So what have you made of this rise of the UK MMA scene while you've had to watch from the sidelines?
It's been great, you know what I mean? Watching Tom win the other week, getting up at like 4:30 a.m. in the morning to watch Tom and screaming the house down was great. And obviously the same with Leon. Everyone wrote him off in the third fight with Usman. Everyone said it was just a fluke, and then he dominated him over the 5 rounds. So the rise of UK MMA, it's coming, and we've always said it's going to happen now, so it's nice to see.
Paddy, do you think when you're in there and you look across and you see Tony, part of it will be a little bit surreal, that you're literally like looking at Tony Ferguson being like, oh yeah, we're about to fight?
Yeah, it will. Like, it'll be a little bit surreal, but at the same time, as I always say, it doesn't matter. The only people what matter in that moment is me, him, and the referee. No one else on this earth matters, and I'll show that on the night.
Because you're a fan of him, right, does that make preparing for this fight a little bit different? You know, like Jose said, he throws a sand. You've seen that before, right? So if he does it to you, you're just going to sort of recognize it. And even his pre-fight talk, he said in an interview with ESPN, you're more worried about him blocking you on Instagram, and when he cuts you, you'll be running home to mama and stuff like that. But you've heard that stuff before from Tony, so does it bother you at all? Does it get a rise, or you just think, oh, it's the Tony show?
Yeah, that's just Tony, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for him to say I've got Dana White privilege, to be honest. That's the one thing I haven't heard him say yet. I can't believe he said I was sensitive, though. You blocked me, mate.
How did you find out he blocked you, actually?
One of my mates said to me, oh, Tony's on his way to Vegas. So I was like, oh, is he? And went to look at his story, and he'd blocked me. You know what I mean? Bit of a weird one, like, shows I'm in his head.
What did you make of his training with David Goggins?
Can do what he wants, Odd. You know what I mean? As I've said in several interviews, Tony's never needed any help with his cardio or his mental fortitude. They're his two biggest aspects that he's still got to this day, you know what I mean? He can still go 3-5s. And he's always been mentally tough, you know what I mean? Look at the armbar Charles had him in and the leg lock Dariush had him in. So if that's what he feels he needs to do to beat me, go and do it, mate. It's not going to help you on Saturday night.
I feel like you're aware of this as well, that the fan reaction to you before your last fight and after that last fight did a massive 180, and I think you got as much criticism as I've seen anyone else get in this sport from that. How much of this win are you excited to do to be able to say, I'm here, I'm winning, and no matter what you say, you guys can't stop me from doing that?
Yeah, it's going to be nice to shut a lot of haters up, you know what I mean? It is. It's going to be lovely. I can't wait to do it. I really can't, lad. That's why it was even worse the first couple of months after I'd done my last fight, because if I would have got injured after the Levitt fight, it wouldn't have been like that, you know what I mean? It would have been just plain sailing. People would have been up my arsehole. But when you get injured after having a very close fight and a performance like that, after saying I was going to dismantle him, which I would have if I didn't get injured in the first round, then it's a lot different.
Paddy, just behind Oscar here. I saw you meet Cody Garbrandt at the PI. Did you explain to him the difference between a Scouser and a Sorcerer?
Well, I done that last year when I met him here last year, to be honest. But Cody's one of the nicest dudes in MMA, lad. Whenever I see him here, he's always very welcoming, as he lives here now, and he's just a cool dude, lad.
And you sharing a card with Ian Gary for the first time. You both sort of made your debuts a similar time. What are your thoughts on him as a fighter? Do you think he could be a champion?
Yeah, he could, of course. Like, that welterweight division's wide open, especially if he beats Luque. He'll go into the top 10, or he's already in the top 10. He'll go higher up in the rankings.
Finally, you got called out by Dylan Dennis. He wanted Baker's UFC debut against you. Is that one you'd welcome if he gets signed?
If he gets signed, lad, let's do it. You know what I mean? He fought Logan Paul and threw about 6 punches. He threw more punches at security guards than he did Logan Paul.
Thank you.
Patty, over here to your right. Speaking of like stakes with this fight, I guess what do you feel like is at stake here? Do you think we can start talking rankings after this? Like if you get through Tony, or?
Well, no, not really, because Bobby Green beat him, and Bobby Green didn't get a ranking. He had to fight someone for a ranking after beating Tony. So I'm guessing it'll be a pretty similar situation for myself. Beat Tony, and then I'll fight someone who's like ranked 15 to 12 or something like that.
For you, you're in an interesting spot because you're so popular. I'm assuming UFC probably wants to put you on pay-per-views going forward. Is there part of you that wants to have that kind of 5-round main event sort of fight night headliner before you start talking about titles and stuff, or?
I don't know. We'll see. I just go with the win, lad. Whatever the UFC asks me to do next, I'll probably do it. As I say, I won't ever say no to a fight. So if the UFC offer me a 5-round main event, I'll probably take it. If they want me to fight on another pay-per-view card, I'll probably take it.
Thanks.
Patty back here. Patty, last year, obviously, you came out and you talked about building, the Batty Foundation, helping those struggling with mental health. With the time off, were you able to make more progress in just continuing to build that?
Yeah, we have, to be honest. We've made a big leap forward. With the help of my manager, Graham Boylan, this year we've raised nearly £80,000, and we're going to be putting that to good use in my city first and foremost. We'll be helping some kids on Christmas Day this year, and we'll be doing a lot more in the coming months. But as I say, this year's been great. You know what I mean? We've been able to raise a lot of money, and this is just the beginning. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep raising money, and we're going to keep helping people.
What would it mean to you for someone to say, Patty's philanthropic goals were bigger than what he accomplished in fighting?
That'd be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, as I've always said, fighting is one of the biggest things in my life, but when men come up to me and say, I didn't kill myself because of what you said after you fought, that means 10 times more than any fight ever will.
And then final question, you obviously get a huge reception when you walk out in the UK. You had a great walkout in the United States. How would you compare the two and feeling that energy?
You can't really compare them, know what I mean? They're both absolutely unbelievable. You can't describe what it feels like to walk out. It's a feeling like no other. It really is, especially when I start bouncing out and my song comes on and the crowd going wild. It's a surreal feeling, to be honest.
Thank you.
Paddy over here. There seems to be like a bit of a dedication from you ahead of this fight. Like normally you like to kind of eat well and build up and weight in between fights, but it seems that you've been kind of in shape for quite a long time ahead of this fight. Is that true?
Yeah, you could say that, because I haven't had any fights this year, lad. So last year when I fought in March, I blew up a little bit in April, and then I had to get my weight down for July. Same again after I fought in July. I blew up a bit in August, and then I had to get my weight down for December. But I haven't been to the States in a while either. That helps, not putting weight on. But yeah, I got married in May, and my weight was quite low for that. So, hopefully I can keep my weight down from now on, but I'm not just going to do it because dickheads tell me to. You know what I mean? If I want to keep my weight down, I'll do it because I want to do it.
Do you notice, like, when you don't have to focus on that you can maybe focus a little bit more on skill acquisition?
No, people always say this to me, but even when I get into fight camp, like my last fight camp, I think I was like I was about 190 pounds, 6 to 8 weeks out, which isn't, people do more than that in 6 to 8 weeks to make 155. It just gets blew out of proportion a bit because my face goes a bit chubby.
You mentioned this is a lose-lose fight for you a couple of weeks back. Are you feeling a little bit different about it now, closer to it?
Nah, it's still a lose-lose situation, lad, because when I win, everyone's just going to be like, oh, he beat a washed-up Tony Ferguson, he's already finished, blah, blah, this and that. Even though he's fought a murderer's row of lightweights up until he fought Bobby Green. And if it did somehow happen to lose, lad, people are like, oh, cut him. He's being beat by a washed Tony Ferguson who should be cut. So it is a lose-lose situation, but as I say, when a name gets put on a contract to me, I won't turn it down. It made me laugh, people on the Twitter experts and the internet experts saying that I turned down a rematch with Jared Gordon and I turned down a fight with Drew Dober. I've never been offered either of them again.
Is there any names that are sticking out to you in the top 15? Obviously, you said you want to fight your way into the rankings. Is there anyone that sticks out to you?
No, as I say, I don't need to call anyone out. They all mention me, but I reckon it'd be someone in like the 15 to 11 range. Who's that now? Like, don't know, Bobby Green, Grant Dawson, Renato Moicano, people like that. I can't think of who else is ranked up there at the minute. Like,
last one from me. Liverpool top of the Premier League. Are they going to do it this year?
oh, we're gonna. Lad, I said before the ball was kicked this year, lad, and I'm gonna have an early night Saturday. Beat Tony, go and get a big greasy burger from In-N-Out, and then get up early and watch the Reds slap the Max on Sunday.
Paddy over here. Speaking of Liverpool, I mean, Dana said that he'd like to go out to other cities in England besides London. What do you think needs to happen for you guys to go to Liverpool?
Well, he'd have to use a stadium, for one, because the arena there isn't big enough. And I know a couple of people at Liverpool Football Club now behind the scenes, and they've said they're happy to accommodate for it. You know what I mean? So, summer 2024 or 2025, well, I can get Dana in touch with the CEO of the club and he can get it sorted. One of the biggest crowds you've ever seen, be about 60-something thousand with the seats on the pitch.
And obviously, you've became a big star inside the promotion, but if you were to headline an event at Anfield, is that like the moment where you sit back and say, I've made it?
Yeah, that'd probably mean more to me than winning a belt, to be honest.
And last one, another person you ran into is Sean Strickland. How was that exchange like?
Oh, he's hilarious, lad. Sean Strickland's one of the funniest dudes ever. He's a legend already, and he's, as I say, bumped into him, had a little chat with him, and that he's absolutely hilarious.
Patty, right next to him. You had said that you have twins due in May, and you've got more to fight for. When you say that, what do you really mean by that, and what is the significance of being a father of twins?
So obviously, if I don't win this fight, I only get half the money, lad. You know what I mean? If Tony's trying to beat me, he's taking food out my unborn baby's mouths. So that's not happening. And everyone says, like I've always said to people, getting your hand raised in the cage is the best thing in the world. Nothing compares to it. And like the only thing that maybe could compare to it is watching your children get born. And I'm going to have that times 2, lad, in a couple of months. So I can't wait to meet my little baby girls, and they'll be in the venue. They'll be in the venue watching in my wife's stomach. So it's going to be a good one.
Awesome. Thank you. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Pictures are on, right? We gotta get pictures of this great speech that Donald Trump gave to me. Admire greatness. Make America great again. Make it free again.
Colby. Welcome to Vegas. It's a title shot you've been waiting for a long time against Leon Edwards. How are you feeling this fight week and ahead of this fight?
I feel amazing, man. It's great to be back on U.S. soil and get to defend my country and defend the honor of all our, citizens here in America. So, it feels great. It could have been in UK, but he said all-time fuck you to all the UK fans and said, no, I don't want to defend this title in the UK. I'd rather come to U.S. soil. So history repeats itself. It's just going to be another 1776, and that means British don't come to America. You come to America, you're going home empty-handed, Junior.
I mean, the fact you said he didn't want to fight in the UK, do you feel like you're not only fighting for the US, but for the UK as well? You're UK fans?
Yeah. I feel like I need to go defend this title in the UK because they get robbed of a pay-per-view main event title fight. So I feel bad for the fans of the UK. They deserve better than what Leon's done to them. But that's why they were all screaming for Colby when Leon was fighting over there. They didn't even care about him because he has no redeeming qualities. I mean, the guy's a complete joke. He's low IQ. I'd love for the media to go ask him, like, what is his level of education? Did he even get through grade school?
I haven't asked him that yet. Skill set wise, when you look at your skills against his, do you believe this is the traditional grappler versus striker matchup, or do you think you can match up with him on the feet as well?
No, I can beat him everywhere for sure. I love that everybody says that this is a striker versus grappler match. You can watch all the tape you watched on me, but I'm not the same fighter I was last time I stepped in the octagon. So Saturday night, you're going to see a completely different version of myself, and I'm going to outclass Leon. I'm going to bring out the dog in me. I'm going to bring out the quitter in Leon.
You've been, through no fault of your own, kept out of the cage, right? They've been trying to match you up with some guys. That hasn't happened, and I know that that's frustrated you. Should you win the title this weekend, do you plan on being a fighting champion, an active champion?
Yeah, I plan on being everything Leon isn't. And, I'm going to be someone that's a champion for the fans, that respects the fans, that make this sport go round. So, he doesn't care about the fans. He doesn't care about this company. I care about this company. This company changed my life. I love the UFC. God bless Ari. God bless Dana White, Hunter Campbell. Those guys have completely made a broke blue-collar kid from Oregon, a multi-million-dollar freaking figure. So, I'm so thankful for this company. I want to be an active champion. Leon, he's turned down so many fights people don't even talk about. I'm the one that had to save the day and be the apex predator and beat Woodley because he turned down when he had the sniffles. He had the sniffles and he turned down Woodley. And then he had a title fight with Usman in Abu Dhabi. He said, no, the sniffles again. Oh, no, I want a title fight. I want a title fight. They offer him a title fight. Oh, not that title fight. So what does that guy deserve now? He doesn't want to fight. He just wants to sit on that placeholder belt that he has right now. So it's okay. That's why Daddy Covington's here to save the day for the UFC and all the fans out there.
Weighing in his backup is Bilal Muhammad. That would seem to suggest the UFC want him to be the number one contender. Is that someone you're interested in fighting?
No, who wants to fight a racist? I mean, could you imagine if I said someone earned something off the color of their skin? That's absolutely despicable. It's disgusting. That guy hasn't deserved anything. I mean, it's not my fault that he's not a star. You have to make yourself a star. I'm the one that went out there and did the things that needed to be done to become a superstar like I have. What has he done? He hasn't done anything. He's out there race baiting saying, oh, he only earned this because the color of his skin. It's white privilege. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, he's not getting no title shot. There will be no title shot for him.
Last one from me. I don't know if I've heard as much anticipation for a press conference as I have this week. You've got names like Ian Gary, Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson up there. Are you going to have lines for all of them, or are you just going to sit there and let them come to you?
I'm chaos. I'm unpredictable. No one knows what I'm going to do next, but I can tell you one thing, that you play with the bull, you're going to get the horns.
Colby, right here. You've obviously fought some pretty high-level former champions like Tyron, Kamaru, RDA, Robbie Lawler. So I'm curious, where does Leon rank compared to all these former champions that you faced?
He's at the bottom of the end of where the guys that I've fought. I've fought in first ballot Hall of Famers, and this guy's had a pretty easy path. Everybody likes to talk about my path to get here. Let's talk about his path. Who'd he beat? RDA a couple years after I washed him up. Who'd he beat? 40-year-old Cerrone, 40-year-old Nate Diaz, Ricky Waters. Where does his impressive resume come from? Where's his young contenders on his resume? He doesn't have it. It never happened. So, he's nothing impressive. Saturday night, I'm going to expose him for what he is, and that's nothing more than a coward and a low IQ idiot.
So if he wasn't the champion right now, would a fight with Leon even interest you at this point? Like if they offered you like a number one contender fight against Leon?
You know, the fights that offer me is the biggest and best fights the UFC come. This is a publicly traded multi-billion-dollar company. Could you imagine if I just fought some prelim fighter? We'd be defrauding investors. The UFC would get sued. I love this company. This company changed my life. I want to do good and the best business for this company, and this is a business. It's about making money. So, you know, I want to do whatever the direction the UFC wants to go. I want the biggest and best fights. That's who I want. So if he's at the top of the totem pole at that time, then sure, yeah, I'd love to do it. You know, I've wanted to fight him for years, but here we are, undisputed, baby. And Colby Chaos Covington, there's nothing more than Colby Chaos Covington wants than to be undisputed champion, and that's exactly what Colby Chaos Covington is going to do on Saturday night.
And he's been pretty vocal saying that he doesn't see you fighting guys like Shavkat or Bilal's or any of these young guys coming up. And I've also seen interviews where you say you would want to be an active champion if you win the belt. So I'm curious, if you do win the belt, what would you want your title reign to look like? Would you just keep fighting these number one contenders, or would you look for these big super fights in other divisions?
Of course, you know, I'm in my prime physically and mentally. You know, now I'm in a place where I've never been before, you know, and I feel really secure in myself. I feel like I've really well-rounded out my skills, you know, in this time off and gotten better. You know, why these guys are turning me down, there's a reason I'm in this position because, you know, I say yes, yes, yes to every single fight. I've never said no. There's no other guy in the history of the sport that said more yeses to a fight than Colby Chaos Covington. So, you know, Colby's a yes man. He loves his company. He'll say yes to any fight. I just want to make the biggest and best fights for the fans and for the company, and that's exactly what I'll do when I'm champion.
Leon also said that when we asked him, the UFC probably wants you to win this fight. So I'm curious, do you feel that way, that the UFC wants you as champion?
You know, the UFC doesn't really have favorites. They don't care who the champions are going to be. They put the two best guys that are deserving of the shots, and they let them fight it out for us. So that's what's going to happen on Saturday night. Leon can keep making these excuses, keep saying this stupid stuff that no one believes. I mean, Saturday night it will determine who's the best fighter in the world, and there's no one more deserving of this title than me.
Last one for me. There are rumors that maybe Donald Trump might put the belt around you if you do win. Is there any truth to that?
There is truth to that. Donald Trump will be in attendance Saturday night, and he's going to wrap that belt around me. I love Dana White, but I've just asked Dana if, you know, he could let Donald put it around me. So, you know, it's going to be a spectacle. It doesn't matter who they put in there Saturday night. They could put the Hulk in there Saturday night. No one's beating me in front of Donald Trump. We're going to make America great again. We're going to make the UFC welterweight division great again because Leon's made an absolute joke of it.
Colby, to your right over here. For so long, really the only thing between you and the title was Kamaru, and since you guys parted, he's been on a skid. He's lost 3 in a row. Just kind of curious what you make of that, and do you feel like if you go out there, you win on Saturday, there's still maybe some unfinished business that he'll come back down to 170 and you guys will fight again?
You know, when I fought Usman, he was in his absolute prime, #1 pound for pound. So you guys want to talk about my resume and who I fought. I fought the #1 pound for pound fighter multiple times. And in my opinion, I beat him. I beat him 7 out of 10 rounds. You go back to my fight in Madison Square Garden, go rewatch that fight. Every single fan in that arena told me, hey, you won rounds 3, 4, and 5. It was clear as day. He won 1 round, the second round. The first round was a toss-up. So I do feel like I beat him, you know, in that fight, and I feel like I'm a better fighter than him. So, you know, I would love to see that trilogy. That's another fight that plays out. So all these other contenders can wait because that's bigger business, you know, that me and Usman have to settle. It's unfinished business.
Thanks.
Hey, Colby. With you not willing to give Bilal a title shot, there is some welterweights on the card with you. Would you give a title shot to the winner of Shavkat versus Wonderboy, maybe Ian Gary? Any of those guys interest you?
Who said I'm not willing? I'm willing to do whatever the UFC wants to do, and I don't make the calls around here. Last time I checked, Leon tried to call the shots and say, oh, Colby's not fighting for the title. No chance. No way Colby's fighting for the title. Where are we here today? We found out who called the shots. None of us fighters call the shots. It's up to the company. It's up to Hunter Campbell, Dana White, Ari Emanuel. These are the guys that call the shots. So whatever they decide is the biggest and best business for this multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, then that's what we'll do next.
Was there a reason why Dana did not let you walk out with Trump this Saturday?
Yeah, there was a reason. He called me about that, and, you know, I asked Donald Trump if he could walk me out. I saw him at Mar-a-Lago before I left, and, you know, I got this suit signed by him, and he said he would walk me out, and then we called the UFC and Dana, and he said logistically, Colby, it would just be too tough. You know, he has, you know, almost 100 Secret Service that come with them, and it would be too much mayhem to get you to the cage and get him there at the same time. So unfortunately, Donald Trump won't be able to walk out with me, but, he'll be cage side, and I'll give him a hug before I enter that octagon, and, I'll see him cage side, and, he'll be putting that belt around my waist Saturday night.
Speaking of Kamaru Usman, what do you think of his fight against Khamzat Chimaev?
I thought he beat him. I thought he beat Khamzat. He was striking him. I thought he dropped him. Khamzat was scared to strike with him. He didn't even hit him once. Look at the significant strikes that were landed. So, if that was a 5-round fight, Usman would have destroyed him. He would have finished him in those championship rounds. So, I thought he looked good. He took it on 4 or 5 days' notice. At 185. So up a weight class. He never fought in that weight class. So, I thought he beat him, and I think a lot of the fans thought that as well.
And finally, for me. A little earlier this week, you called Sean Strickland an excuse of a human being. What's up with that?
Dude, can you not all relate? I mean, the guy said that women only belong in the kitchen. If you told that to my friend Candace Owens, she would literally run circles around him and make him look like the amateur jabroni that he is. I mean, the guy's the easiest fight in the division. I mean, there's a reason that he ran away from my division, because he couldn't cut it. So, I'm just speaking facts and what everybody believes and thinks as well.
Colby, down here to your left. You said that Leon is a quitter. Is that just the summation that you've made from what you saw in his fight with Kamaru Usman, or was that something that you saw in him beforehand?
Yeah, it was the first fight with Usman where I saw that he has that quitter in him. So, I'm going to bring him to that dark place, and, I'm going to bring out the dog in me and the quitter in him. So I know he has a deep down inside. Even in the second fight, he had it too, and his coach had to wake him up. Leon, oh, come on, you're quitting. Don't give up. So, he's a mumbling idiot, and Saturday night I'm going to bring that quitter back out of him.
And obviously, this is your third opportunity of getting the undisputed title. Would it be a lot sweeter for you getting it this time around than first time, considering you've picked yourself up the metaphorical canvas twice to do it?
Absolutely. It's the same path and journey that Donald Trump's had to go on. We've been cheated out of, titles, out of, his presidency, out of my last undisputed title in Madison Square Garden. But there's one thing about me and Donald Trump, and that's when we face adversity, we can be delayed, but we will not be denied.
And final one for me, if there's one thing that impresses you about Leon, what is it?
The guy has no redeeming qualities. He's not likable. I mean, literally, the guy's made a joke of our division. He wants to sit and not fight anybody. He just wants to sit on the reign forever as the placeholder. So there's literally nothing to say good about Leon. This fight's personal. He has what I want, and that's the undisputed title. And there's nothing more that Colby Covington wants than that undisputed title. So Colby Covington gets what he wants.
Colby, right here. Over here. Just wanted to get your thoughts, right here, brother. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the Nelk boys and your relationship. I know you just signed with Team Happy Dad. We've seen you working out with Kyle in Miami. What's your relationship with those guys like right now?
Yeah, I got a great relationship with the Happy Dad team and the Nelk boys. Big shout out to Kyle Forgard. He did a lot of training with me this camp, and that guy has the dog in him. So it was great to train with a guy that has the dog in him. He was able to push me to a level that I didn't think I could be pushed to. So we got some great strength and conditioning training in together, and I feel like that's going to make a difference on Saturday night.
Colby right behind him. The UFC recently went to Miami again for the first time in a long time, and looks like they're heading back soon. Now that Miami is back on the travel schedule, is that one of your bucket list items before you call it a career?
Absolutely. Everybody knows I'm the king of Miami. I run those streets. I train in the heart of Miami, in Hialeah, Miami. So, no one's more Miami than me. I've been there for 15 years now. So, I love representing the 305. I put them on my back every time I go into fight. Everybody knows I love my South Beach Mamacitas. They're the ones that give me the best cardio for my fights, the bedroom cardio. That's why I'm the cardio king. So, yeah, I would love to fight and headline in Miami. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll come and show up and fight in March. I think that's a good turnaround time. So, hopefully they'll let me headline that March Miami show. Or if not, maybe we can come back in the summer or before year's end.
I asked Dana earlier in one of the contender conferences about potentially having UFC 305 out in Miami. Is that something you'd like to do?
Oh man, that would be so incredible. I love the sound of that. I think that's a great storyline, and no better way than Miami's son, Colby Covington. So I'd love to do that. That'd be a dream come true, and it'd bring the best out of me, fighting him in my backyard and getting to sleep in my own bed. It'd be so amazing. I wouldn't turn down a home day like Leon would.
And last one for me, obviously, you and Kamaru Usman have had one of the most historic and heated rivalries in the UFC, but he's showing you a lot of respect going into this fight week. I mean, what do you make of all that respect he's been giving you?
Yeah, it was definitely surprising. It caught me off guard. I really don't know what to make of it. I haven't really processed it fully, but I can tell you one thing is that he spent 10 rounds in that to Marty.
Thank you.
Colby, hey, I'm here. Shavkat Rakhmonov said that he will bring the belt to Kazakhstan next year. Will you be ready to face him if you become a new champion?
Whoever the UFC deems necessary, that's who I want to fight. If it's Shit Rat, if it's Islam, if it's fucking Sean Strickland, the one thing's for sure, I'll make and if these guys want to fight me, they're going to have to come to my division. So, like I said before, it's a publicly traded company, multi-billion-dollar company. I love this company so much, changed my life. So I want to do the biggest and best business for the company. So I never said no to a fight. I've said yes to every fight. One fight either.
Will you be ready to fight more often if you become a champion?
Of course, I've wanted to be more often and more active. This is because other people have been turning down fights. I mean, Khamzat Chimaev ran away from me. He was scared of my shadow. So, of course, he had to go up to an easy weight division. Everybody knows 170 is the premier division. It's the toughest division in the UFC. So, this is what most people on this earth walk around at, about 170 pounds. So, of course, Khamzat was scared to fight, and then there were some other people that were scared to fight, and now we're here. All I can do is fight who they put in front of me. I can't go out there and fight some prelim guy because then they defraud the investors and they're going to get us sued. So, anytime, anywhere, anyone. That's Colby Chaos Covington's moniker.
Here, Colby. Leon said
the first time he opened his mouth, he was scared to fight me. I mean, he got forced to fight me, so he didn't want to fight me. He knows deep down inside what's going to happen on Saturday night and what Colby's coming after him. So what I have to say to that is he's definitely not going to retire me. I just signed a new contract with the UFC. I'm going to be a lifetime fighter, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm physically and mentally in my prime, and the best is yet to come from Colby Chaos Covington.
You said you want to make the welterweight division great again. Is there any thoughts about going up and making the middleweight division great once again?
How can I make, I could probably make them both great at the same time, but, my focus is on welterweight. I want to make this division great again. I want to solidify myself as an all-time great and the greatest welterweight of all time, so I have a lot of work to do in welterweight, and luckily I'm young and 35 years young and in my prime and mentally and physically, so, I got a lot of work to do, and I want to clear out this division first before I go out to middleweight. So anybody who wants to fight, super fight or not, you're going to have to come to welterweight.
Last one from me. You paraded the suit that you're wearing there before you came on with us. What's the backstory to it?
Yeah, so the backstory is, it's a Make America Great Again suit. I got Donald Trump to sign it, so this suit is worth a pretty penny now. And then I got Trump's mugshot, his unlawful, indictment. What a joke, I can't believe they're using the justice system against us. Do you guys realize how corrupt this system is right now? Like they're weaponizing the judicial system, the DOJ. I mean, it's political persecution. They're scared of him. They know he's the greatest threat to the he's the greatest threat to the swamp. And, he stands for democracy, and they don't like that. There's a bunch of communist people running this country right now, and we need to get them out. Our borders are wide open. Inflation is higher than it's ever been. I mean, our streets are burning, and we're sending money to Ukraine? For what? What about America? What happened to America first? That's what Donald Trump stands for, is America first. So right now it's America last. We need to make America great again. 2024 is our last stand. If Donald Trump doesn't get back in office, this country is done.
Colby over here. Colby, I am curious, what did Donald Trump say when he saw his mugshot on your jacket?
He loved it. He was like, man, that's creative. I love it. That's amazing. Then he gave me some advice on the fight, and then he just said, hey, man, I'm going to be in the arena Saturday night. Don't feel the pressure. Right? When I come, it creates a lot of pressure. He's the most famous person on planet Earth. There's no one more famous than Donald Trump. So he just said to just relax, be calm, and do what I do best. Win championships, fight, and have fun. And, we'll hang out and enjoy Mar-a-Lago afterwards.
Going back to one of the previous questions, being a double champion is one of those things that seems to be very popular these days. Can I ask, what is it about welterweight? Do you just feel you perform best there? Because I'd imagine you go on a long win streak, that temptation has to be big.
Yeah, it's always, big to try and make more history. I've created some of the best and most iconic moments in the history of the sport. First fighter to ever go to the White House, first fighter to hang out with a sitting president, first fighter to get a first family to a fight, strikes records, all these records, champion after champion beaten, first ballot Hall of Famer after first ballot Hall of Famer. But I want to keep doing things that people haven't done before. So, I want to go for that triple championship. And I think I could do it. I think I can make 55 and I think I can go up to 85. And that's the easiest fight if Sean Strickland's still there. So I may look to go, beat Sean first and then go down to 55 and beat that Mongoloid. But, I have unfinished business at 170. And the only way to make this division great again is to be active and to clear out the division first. So until I do that, I'm not going to entertain anybody else.
Thank you.
If you hate America so much and you don't like this country that gave you $1 billion, leave it or come deal with me. You go to China, go to these sweatshops that you employ all these laborers and use these women and pay them pennies on the dollar to make your millions. Fuck you, LeBron James. You're a coward. You're a spineless coward, and you're a bitch.
Hey, good morning. What's up, guys?
Alexander, obviously, this is your first fight as the reigning UFC champion. So I guess how has life changed? How has camp been for you since you did win this title all the way back in July?
More money in my bank account, and more people recognize more me in the streets. But inside of my house, nothing changed. My wife keeping me put to wash the dishes, and I'm very glad to have a wife like her.
So you haven't been like, honey, I'm the champion. I don't have to wash dishes anymore.
Yeah, I think that's gonna work, but no with my wife, But that's good because I'm staying with my feet on the ground, And I have some history about that, about the Emperor Julius Caesar. I don't know if it's true or not, but when he walked on the street and people try to him like a god. He have one guy in your shoulder say, "You're just a man. You're just a man. You're just a man." And I think my wife is that guy, you know. And I'm stay with my feet on the ground, work a lot to keep this belt with me.
Then after your last win, I think a lot of people just assumed it would be Brandon Royval would be your first title defense based on his performances. Were you under the impression that your first fight would be against him, a rematch, another rematch?
I'm fight with all division, you know. And I know if I won Royval, certainly maybe my next fight's gonna be a rematch again, you know. And Royval really deserved fight for the belt. After for me, he make 3 victories in a row. He last 2 fighters, finish in the first round, two bonus, and that make me very excited, you know, because I like to make bonus too. I make it like to fun fight, and I fight with him last pay-per-view of the year, last show. I make sure I'm gonna take all the lights for that fight.
He said he's predicting a fight of the night just because of your styles. Are you expecting the same thing?
Same thing, you know, and I respect Royval's style, you know, very aggressive, good in the ground. Same I have, you know. In that night, gonna win who want more, you know, and I want a lot.
How have you seen him progress, and how has his skill set changed since the first time you guys fought?
He's very young, you know. When I beat him, I said this for him, you know. You're very young. You can grow up in this sport, you know. But I still learn too, you know. I'm from America top team, and when I backed off my vacation after they win the belt, all the gym beat me, you know. And I understand. You need to prove you are the champ all the time, you know. I'm a champion July 8th, and I need to prove against December 16th.
Do you think he's a tougher matchup than Brandon Moreno?
I don't know, you know. Now I fight with the Prime Moreno. Now I fight with the Royval Prime, and I'm very happy to be a champ and fight with the guys with this high level, you know. I know Royval can beat Moreno, and Moreno can beat him. That's division. All fight is good, you know. You can take the number 15, he can beat the number 1, you know. I love to be a part of this division, one of the more fun fights to watch.
And then last one for me. After your last win, when you won the title, there was your post-fight speech in the octagon about your father and everything. I'm curious, have fans reached out to you after that, and with similar experiences, and now they can relate to you?
Yeah, you know, I think everybody grow up in 90s like me, have this situation in his life, and a lot of people's connect with my history, you know, and that's nice in that point, you know. But, you know, I have 33 right now, and I keep learning with myself. I keep growing, you know, like a man, like a father. And sometimes in that speech, I'm speaking with my heart, you know. I think about thinking about say it, but I talk with my wife, hey, I'm going to say something about my heart. I don't want to put anything in my mind to talking about the fight, after the fight. And I talk about my mom, how much he worked to give me that opportunity. I talk about my wife and my kids, and something come off to my inside my heart, and talking about something about my father. And a lot of people's connect with the history, you know. But I don't want to be that guy judges my father, you know. He have his thinking in his mind, you know. And like I say, I'm still grow up. I'm still learning with my history, my mistakes, you know, and that's it.
Alex, over here. Brandon's a guy that can get kind of wild. We've seen in his fights, like sometimes he gets his opponents to kind of, try to capitalize on a mistake, and then they get sucked into something dangerous. So when you're in there, do you have to be really careful? Do you feel like not to get in some sort of wild exchanges with him, or do you think you can just beat him regardless of how that tempo goes?
You know, when you fight, when you go to octagon, it's 50-50, you know. It's only about you and your opponent, you know. I think that's the beautiful thing in MMA, you know. I know how good Royval is. I fight with him, and make a very good grappling. He's very good grappling. In the first round, everybody can watch a high-level grappling with me and him. And mistakes, you know. I'm very aggressive, and I train too much all my life. I train in jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. When I'm very young, my master, Muay Thai master, bring me to a lot of gyms, and I fight with everybody in these gyms, for 100 times. And this make me very prepared and ready to this moment I live right now. Doesn't matter who go to another corner of the octagon, I'm ready to fight. All the time. If you watch me, my fights is live or die for me.
Now that you're sitting atop the division with that belt, looking at the rest of the division, there's a fight coming up, Brandon Moreno and Albazi. I'm assuming that'll probably be your next challenger should you get through Saturday. So I guess what do you think of that fight being booked and kind of those two guys?
Almir Albazi is a very good fighter. He have a lot of attention right now. And that's very interesting because he's going to fight with Moreno in Mexico. And that's a good motivation for Moreno, Moreno is a real good fighter. When I fight with him, I fight with a different guy. But maybe this guy can fight for the belt again, like 6 times in a row, that's crazy. But he make to deserve that, He make a lot of good history in all the flyweights. And you have Almir Albazi too. He's a very good fighter. It's very different style. And but right now, my focus is in Brandon Rival, Saturday, December 16. I'm going to put a very good show for everyone watching.
Alex over here. Last time out, you were kind of the villain going into Fight Week because Brandon Moreno had all of the fan support in Vegas. How do you see it this time around?
I think he's going to make it the same, Rival is from America, from U.S., and maybe all the crowd with him again. But I think now I have some respect to everybody, how I fight. People watch more my fights, and know about more history, how much sacrifice I do to this moment right now. I have 33. I'm starting to fight when I have 17 years, and very big journey. I win a lot of belts in my career. I go to the tough. I fight with everybody in this division, and I just want to respect.
Obviously, like you said, you had a big journey. Your road and story to the top is very inspiring. Given all of that, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who may be struggling somewhere in some point of their life, what would you say?
I keep it going, I like to say all the time, look to your home, look to your house. You're going to see people who much want to care about you, that's a real thing in your life, 2 years when I fight to Rival, I have an injury in my knee, and I spent 8 months without my family. And then I bring his back to the U.S., to Florida, and I spend a lot of money. In this moment, when I want to fight to the Rival, I work for Uber. I have my ACL, and I do everything for my family, And in this moment, when I fight with Rival, I have very strong mind, This helped me. I think if you have if you look inside your home, you're gonna understand all the answers,
And you mentioned there that last time out with Rival, you were doing a bit of Ubering and stuff. Did it feel kind of weird knowing that you're one of the top athletes in the world, especially in this sport, and you still had to do Uber and stuff to?
No, I love fight with UFC. For me, UFC pay very well. He changed my life. People need to understand when I do a Uber, because I bring my family back to America. I make a down payment for my house. I make my green card, and in that moment I spend a lot of money, But I not change anything because I spent 8 months without my family. That's a real sacrifice about my history, Don't have my kids and my wife together, Work for Uber and the training. In my gym right now, Brandon, you have a lot of good fighters. After the training, you go to the work, That's the life, That's the real life, I think that's the real thing people need to put in the media, No shit about the family, the young Gary and thing. I'm very sad about that, People try to get some likes with their history, I think people need to put more something good things for everybody watch, about how you work, about you want to care about your family.
Thank you.
Alexandre, back here.
I see you, man.
Sir, you on a 4-fight win streak, you win the title, the confidence is at an all-time high, and does it give you an extra edge of confidence that during this 4-fight win streak you already beat Brandon?
Like I say, bro, when you fight is 50-50, you know, maybe my motivation is about if somebody beat me, I'm going to train a lot to beat you again, you know, and that's make me train real more, you know. I don't feel relaxed with this time, you know. Like I say, when you go to Octagon, it's a 50-50. We need to be alert all the time. Brandon Rival is a very good fighter. I respect him, all the history he have. And he's very young, very athlete, good grappling, good and the strike too. He beaten a lot of good guys, Kaikara France, you know, Matt Chinel, Matheus Nicolau. He's going to be a very good fight for both.
And last thing for me is, have the last months felt like you expected? It's such a big thing to get to the world title. Has it lived up to the expectations now being champion?
You know, I say all the time when I go sleep, I say thank you, God, for everything you give to me, you know. Live this life, you know, beat this person, go to the octagon and make all my friends, my parents happy. That's a lot for me, you know. I'm living like a, I don't say a dream because I don't like to dream too much, you know. I like to live all day by day, you know. I'm work a lot to live that, you know. But I feel very glad to be this personal, go to the fight and everybody watching and make people happy.
Thank you.
Alexandre, you've obviously been on a great win streak and you've beaten many of the top names at flyweight already. What keeps pushing you in the gym to stay in front of the rest of the contenders after you've already beaten them before?
You have two guys right here in the phones, wrote his phones. He pushed me a lot in the gym. My coach, Pahum Macarrão, and he put me a lot of pressure, you know, like a diamond, you need the pressure to shine. And my victories always come from America Top Team. Not just my coach, but my training partners. Everybody in the gym after my vacation beat me, you know, everybody. And you need to be good training, you know. Like what I try to say is like I'm champion July 8, and I need to prove one more time I'm champion July 16, you know. That's it. You have good people on your side, and you need to understand who is your family and who your job, you know. And I understand these two gentlemen right here is my family, and I'm very glad to have these guys in my life.
Competitively, are you hoping Amir Albazi beats Moreno so you can maybe have somebody new in the picture?
I don't think about that. You know, in my division, you have very good fighters. You can take, like I say, you can take number 10 with number 1, and he can win. You know, very close fighters, very good fighters, good in striking, cardio. I love to watch flyweight division. Very fun, very entertainment fights. And I don't make wishes. You know, who deserve gonna fight with me? I have a very tough opponent Saturday, and if God bless me and I win this fight, I wish Saturday night keep this belt with me.
Final question. Sometimes when people become champions, the walkouts become bigger, you do things more extravagant. Do you have anything special planned for your first walkout as a champion?
Nothing special, bro. I'm keeping my feet on the ground, you know. Like I told you and everybody here, my wife is very tough. After this fight, maybe I need to go make good things just with my family, you know, maybe some vacation together, you know. I think that's the word people need to understand about maybe my history, you know. Family guy, humble guy, just work. You're never gonna see some bullshit about me, and I don't like trash talking. If you pay to watch my fights, you know, you not pay to see my life, you know. I'm not a reality show. I'm a fighter, and I make sure every time I go to Octagon, I'm gonna make a big show, and I make sure I'm valuing all the coins, you know.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. How's it feel? I know this week has been something you've been aiming for a while, so how does it feel that you're finally on a title fight week?
Man, it feels, I don't know, it feels unreal. God damn, you good, bro? Hey, good shit over there, Spilsberg.
Excitement's getting to everyone.
Yeah, damn.
But cool, man. Yeah, I mean, you're 7 fights into your UFC tenure. You're already having a title fight. Is there a part of you that this came even sooner than you expected when you first signed up in the UFC?
Yeah, when I first got to UFC, it just seemed like it was all happening so quick. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just had to learn some lessons along the way for sure. And it's like I do feel like it's like the trust the timing type of thing. So yeah, I feel like this is just all coming about all perfectly at this point in time.
Yeah, and I guess does it feel any different going through this week? Is there more media, more of a spotlight? Do you feel it at all, or not really?
Yeah, today is usually like a chill day for me on a normal like fight week, but I'm pretty much packed up to the bone with the media, social media stuff, all that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a little different, and it was cool just cruising up and down Vegas Strip and just seeing my face plastered everywhere, just seeing this poster and everybody on this card plastered all over the place was a real cool moment, honestly.
One aspect that isn't foreign to you about this experience is your opponent. You guys have been in there before, so I guess kind of talk to me about him, the championship version of him, and kind of where he's at right now. What kind of fight are you getting in with on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm getting in it with one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC. Definitely one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC flyweight division. He has finishing skills on the feet, on the ground, and yeah, I very early on into camp, I had it put in my head that I got to put myself through hell to win this fight. Because to win this fight, and then in this fight, I'm gonna be dragged through hell, and I'm gonna drag him through hell, and I just had to be comfortable in that fire.
You guys, or you have not lost since you guys first fought. So I guess how did that fight change you? Do you feel like did you learn a lot from it? Is there now sitting there? Is there do you think about it a lot? Like is it a big moment in your career?
Yeah, I think about that every day. Honestly, I feel like that's one of the losses that'll get to me the worst, just because it's like I never pictured myself ever getting finished. I've always pictured myself losing maybe a wrestling match and just like an actual firefight. I never thought I was going to be able to lose those. But yeah, it changed my whole style of how I approach fights, how I want to approach fights, how I approach training and all that stuff. I feel like Alexandre Pantoja made me such a better fighter, and has changed my mentality when I go in there, and not in like the negative. You're not gonna get that raw dog. I'm not gonna like. I'm going for it for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. That being said, I'm gonna be a calculated killer in there.
And how much do you feel like you've changed since that first fight, and how much do you think he's changed?
I think I've changed my style drastically, and you could see it in there. I used to walk forward and just throw a bunch of quantity punches and just kind of stay in someone's face. And I feel like these last 3 fights, I've just slowly mastered a style that I really want, and a championship style that's gonna not only win this fight, but win all these fights to come. And I feel like I can adapt my style and fight these guys in different style in many forms. I can fight on my front foot. I can fight on my back foot. I can fight in a taekwondo stance. I can fight in a boxing stance. I feel like I'm just far superior compared to these flyweights. And to be 100% honest, and I'm preparing for the best Pantoja, but if we're being realistic, I've watched Pantoja since the legacy fights, and I feel like he's throwing some of the same kind of punches, a little bit of the sloppiness and all that stuff this whole entire time. And it's like I feel like if we're talking about adapt and skill growth in this time period, I've grown drastically compared to him.
Did you feel like even with the Moreno fight, I know a lot of people were surprised by his performance that he beat Brandon. So did you kind of still see that complacency that you're talking about in that fight, kind of that plateau?
I wouldn't say complacency, but yeah, no, just certain tendencies for sure that I've seen in him in that Moreno fight. And that was the cool part about the Moreno fight is there's 25 minutes of it. You can watch that for half an hour, and there's so much homework that we studied on and we could have got done on. So I feel like watching that Moreno fight, there was a lot to learn, but it was all stuff I already kind of knew and saw.
Thanks. Right, over here. This change that you said after that first fight, like just your approach to training and everything, was that based off a conversation with coaches? Was that just like a conversation you had with yourself? Like was there a moment that kind of led to that change?
Yeah, I'm surrounded by really like honest people and like open people and people who aren't afraid to hurt my feelings. And it was a conversation with coaches, it was a conversation within myself, it was a conversation with like my family and friends around me of just like, okay, why is this stuff happening? And it's just like, because honestly, like I feel like what lost me that fight is just like like what I fuck up all the time. It's just like I rush things. I try to get to the finish line and all that thing. And like if that's doing the dishes or if that's in a fight, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to get dishes done in 20 seconds, and I don't need to get this fight done in 20 seconds. I got 25 minutes to finish my opponent, and I can go in there and play with my food for a little bit, you know?
Do you think this change into your approach will even extend your career just based on like, you know, recovery and not just being full throttle the whole time in the fight?
Yeah, 100%. I would go into fights. I have probably, I think like 3 or 4 fights that are first round finishes, or not first round finishes, finishes in less than a minute, which is cool. That being said, is I've also been in fights where I shouldn't even got touched and I was getting hit because I was just taking unnecessary risk and trying to finish the fight. I felt like my whole entire career, it's like if we get into a shootout, if I'm getting into a shootout with anybody, I'm the more dangerous fighter and I'm going to walk away. That loss to Alexandre Pantoja is the first time I got in a shootout and I lost. And yeah, I took that to heart. And from here on out, I'm just a sniper. I'm a calculated killer, and that's how I'm approaching these fights from here on out.
And then I've heard interviews from you, and then he was just in here, and you both said the same thing. Like, this is most likely going to be the fight of the night. Like, that's what you guys expect. But historically, fight of the night means it's a close fight and it's a hard fight. So I would imagine you don't want a close fight. You want, as you said, a perfect performance. So I guess what type of fight are you expecting from yourself? Is it this back and forth war, or do you expect this masterclass performance?
Yeah, man, I want a masterclass performance. I feel like the skills that I've progressed along the way and the style that I've adapted along the way, I feel like Alexandre Pantoja would be the perfect canvas to paint a masterpiece on for my title fight.
Then last one for me. When he was in here earlier, he said that he felt anyone ranked 10-1 could be fighting for the title in this division just because of how competitive and how talented this division is. So I'm curious, just because Alex has the belt, do you view him as the actual best flyweight in the world, or are there other guys out there that you view as maybe even more talented than him?
I don't think why Alexandre Pantoja is the champion is because he's the most talented in the division. I feel like he's beaten people that are far more talented than him. I feel like what Alexandre brings to the table is an iron will and a heart of a lion, and that's what people ask me. They're like, how do you break someone? Excuse me. How do you break someone mentally like that? And I feel like for the last few days, it's just like you can't. I'm not preparing to. I want to break him mentally. I'm preparing to break him mentally, but I know he's not going to break mentally. I got to go in there this Saturday and break him physically.
Hey, Brandon, back over here.
What's up, bro?
So, you know, your UFC debut, you're crying in your post-fight interview saying you don't want to go back to work tomorrow. Fast forward, you're fighting for a title on Saturday. Can you kind of reflect on that?
Yeah, I wasn't crying. I got eye poked, so I just want to make that very clear, you know. Yeah, no, I think about that all the time. It's just, especially like I was cruising the boulevard, the Las Vegas Strip, and just seeing my face plastered, and it was just like, damn, like, I don't know too many other people's journeys except for like my team directly, or like, but it took so much to get here. It took so much to get to the UFC, to get to the top 10, to fight for a belt. Is just like, I don't think anybody knows what you have to put yourself through, the sacrifices you make along the way, the people you lose along the way, the moments you lose along the way. That is just like, man, it took so much to get here that this Saturday I'm going to take it all in, and I'm going to give it everything I fucking have, and I'm just going to embrace this journey to the fullest because, you know, this is a crazy moment, and this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity almost, you know?
On that same note, you were on the prelims, your last fight. Dana said he fucked up. You said you were never going to be on the prelims again. Your next fight, your co-main event. Is that just...
You want to know something really cool? And I forgot about this. Is last time I fought Alexandre Pantoja, we were cutting weight at the quarantine hotel, and I was running on the treadmill, and then he jumped on the treadmill and ran next to me, and we didn't say anything to each other. We gave each other like a head nod or whatever. But the last words we said to each other was just like, "Bro, why are we not co-main event on this card? Why are we not? We're like we should be higher up on this card, and that was like something me and him said to each other, and it's just cool that 2 years later we're fighting for a belt for the co-main event.
And finally, what would bringing the belt back to Factory X mean to you?
So at my gym, I'm the longest student there, which is dope. I didn't even realize it until like this year, but it's like I'm the longest student that has been there. I've known Coach Mark for most of my life at this point in time, and I feel like the opportunities, the way I view my teammates as family member and all that together is just like, if I go out there and win this belt, I feel like I just improve all of our lives. I improve all of our opportunities. I can get more say in my teammates being on a card with me. I see Adesanya, he won a belt. His teammates 3-0, or he was 3-0 and got signed to the UFC. Is like, I have teammates that are 8-0 UFC fly. That should be a UFC flyweight, the UFC caliber. That's not in the UFC yet. Luis Goulet, and it's like that opens up opportunities and gates for all of us. And I don't think that I'm just winning this belt for me. I think I'm winning it for the whole team for sure, and I'm winning it for the city and the people around me.
Brandon over here. You mentioned on UFC Embedded that being an uncle is the best title that you carry. If you went on Saturday night, does that change?
Yeah, for sure. No, not at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, nothing changes with that. Honestly, bro, and I have it in my head too. Just like, fuck the belt. I'm out for revenge, and I'm out for notoriety, and I'm out for respect. I feel like I've been getting shitted on since I've been in this, been in the UFC. I've been a classic fucking underdog every single one of these fights, and it's like on Alexander Pantoja, I get me being the underdog for sure, but fuck the belt, bro. I'm out for revenge, and I'm out for respect.
And I saw you mention the Legacy Fighting Days earlier. Both of you come from that promotion. Obviously, he came from the RFA banner, and you're from the LFA. I guess how cool is it to have two champs from that promotion now meet for the UFC belt?
Yeah, and it just it speaks volumes of that promotion. I think another thing that speaks volumes of that promotion, as far as me goes, is I came from LFA and then immediately jumped in the top 10 of the UFC division and was just fine. You know, I was just tried and true. Anybody that beat me in the LFA got signed to the UFC right afterwards, and it was just like that promotion is the reason why I'm here for sure.
And obviously, you're no stranger. You see how like all these title fights have been filled with rematches at the flyweight division. If you become champion, is there someone you'd like to see next? Maybe a fresh face?
And I'm not looking for a fresh face. I'm on that Raw Dog Revenge tour. I want to see Brandon Moreno next.
Thank you.
Brandon over here. I think both you and Pantoja are excellent in the scramble position. Do you feel that this is an area where the fight could be won and lost for both you guys on Saturday night?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like if I don't think safely, if I'm not making calculated moves in there, then for sure that's a situation where I could put myself in danger. It's like I'm gonna scramble, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna create chaos, but I'm gonna do it super calculated this time around. I'm not gonna do it just to do it. But yeah, I agree.
Is that what you kind of took from the first fight that you fought with Alejandro? Like, you know, maybe you could have been a little bit better in the scramble?
Yeah, for sure, and just safer, and just thinking of like, just checking, crossing my T's and dotting my I's in the scrambles for sure, because I was just like scrambling, and so far, like, I've just been the better scrambler out of everybody. There's been zero consequences to some of the mistakes I was making in jiu-jitsu, and I didn't really respect too many people's jiu-jitsu as far as it goes in the UFC or in any MMA fight for sure. But yeah, Alexander Pantoja definitely made me tighten up that game. I've been training with Michael Lier, who just won Worlds this last week, and that was like one of the first things that I did as soon as I lost that fight was I switched and trained with the all jiu-jitsu team, and that's been paying dividends.
In your preparation, obviously this is 5 rounds. Have you had to change it up much? Are you worried about pace and stuff like that? Because both, like, similar enough to the scrambles, you guys set a pretty heavy pace in there as well.
Yeah, it's not something I'm worried about. It's something that I welcome. I feel like I have like a mentality. Pace is the best pace, and you know, Saturday will be the day to die. You know.
Thank you.
Brandon, why do you feel back here that Pantoja is the perfect opponent for you to implement your new style against?
I feel like Pantoja is an opponent that's gonna put us both in danger. I feel like Pantoja is gonna risk it all, not only put me in danger, but he's gonna put himself in a lot of dangerous positions. And I feel like if I'm just being calculated, I could capitalize all over that.
And also wanted to ask, you said there's been a lot of changes. Were any of these changes that the coaches had possibly suggested previous that it took you having the setback to open your eyes kind of to what they were saying?
Most likely, honestly, I don't know, probably.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate you.
And Brandon, so whose idea was it to roll around Vegas in the Classic?
Oh, it was my videographer's idea. Yeah, I didn't. That's not up my alley at all. I almost wrecked that shit because I was over here looking at posts. I was like, damn, is that? I was like, look at that one. Yeah, so yeah, not my idea at all. But it was cool. That was actually really cool. I've never drove a car like that.
And then I saw your Instagram. You're already thinking about that post-fight meal. How do you like the hot wings? What sauce, and bone-in or boneless?
Oh man, boneless for the most part because I like a messy person. So yeah, boneless for the most part. But I don't know. I'm bored. I like medium, mild and stuff like that. So yeah, nothing crazy. But what I'm craving more than anything is just chips and salsa after I weigh in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Very quiet.
Hey, Leon, down to your right. How's it going? How's fight week so far?
Good. I've been here now for almost 2 weeks, so I've kind of got used to the Vegas time zones and just enjoying fight week for what it is, you know.
Nice. And I guess, how's this one feel compared to the others? Any different considering who you're going against, the moment?
Not really. I don't think it feels bigger than the world when I fought for the world title. I think that feels that was for me anyway. That was more pressure on me. You know, I think this one I'm already solidify myself for the confidence that I can achieve what I've achieved. You know, so going out there fighting a guy in Cove Covington, a guy that I don't really like. I think it makes it easier in training camp. It makes it easier to show up and compete. You know.
How do you balance that, right? Because on one hand, you're going against a guy that's kind of got the pro wrestling thing going on, but he's also, you know, we talked to him a few minutes ago. He had all sorts of insults to hurl at you about being a quitter and asking us to ask you what your IQ was and all this stuff, and draped out in the Donald Trump suit. So how do you balance motivating yourself in a healthy way versus like playing into the pro wrestling game, so to speak?
Easy, to be fair, because I think everyone knows he's playing like a character, right? And even him after like when he fought Usman, he's I won't try and sell a fight, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like easier to take someone like that like as a joke, you know. And that's what I'm able to do. Just take it for what it is. He's a clown, and just treat him as such, you know.
And separating his personality and the gimmick from his abilities, I guess, what do you see now that you've gone through a training camp and really studied him?
That's not as good as everyone thinks, you know. He's a guy that's been stopped before by TKO, been choked out before, been taken down before, you know. So there's many ways that you can beat him. He's just a normal fighter that's more scrappy, basically. He's like Usman, more scrappy, basically, you know. And me and my team came up with a great game plan. To neutralize everywhere where he's good at, and my aim is to go out there and take him out, you know.
And I know when you when you last fought in March, you were kind of lukewarm about him being the next challenge for you. You said that that wasn't going to be the case. Now that it's here, do you still feel like he's really shouldn't be the guy on the other side, like if it was a just system? Or
Do you think he should be the guy?
I mean, it's
Exactly,
Bilal
right?
certainly has a good case as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think no one in this room know why it's fine for a title, but we're here now, and none of that matters. You know, like I said, all that matters now is Saturday night, going out there, taking him out. I am focused fully on that, and that's it. Whether he deserves it or not, it doesn't matter because he's fine anyway for the bout, and that's my aim.
And I do want to get your reaction. We got news recently that Bilal is going to be weighing in as the backup. I know he's been asking for a rematch against you for a while. Do you feel like that was the right move? And do you feel like he's going to be the one that's next for you if you get through Colby?
Yeah, maybe. But there's many guys that's been the backup for other cards and didn't end up fighting for the world title, you know. And let's say on Saturday night, one of the other guys do like a mad stand-up performance. Maybe UFC just skip Bilal and put them in, you know. So who knows? But like I said, you got to fight them all anyway. So whoever comes first, it doesn't matter.
Leon, you mentioned about Colby being a character and how in the past he said to Kamaru, like, oh, I was selling the fight and stuff like that. If he turns around to you and says, I was only joking about that, do you sort of go, I get it, it's a character? Or do you think, well, if you say those things, you're still saying those things, character or not?
I don't know. I just don't think actor will ever bear. Like, maybe in the octagon, as like athletes, like, oh yeah, like, good fight, but I wouldn't be like, go to the club with him after. We're just two different guys, you know. I feel like even without fighting, we just wouldn't be friends anyway. You know, I think his mentality is different from my mentality. His way of thinking is different from my way of thinking, and that's it. You know, we're just two different human beings. And but yeah, he sells a fight. I get paid. We all get paid. So here's what it is.
So you mentioned that you dislike him. Is that like this guy personally, I can't stand him, I hate him, or is it just like this guy annoys me?
No, I don't hate him. I don't know him like that to hate him. You know, I hate the character that he's playing. You know, I find it just strange that a grown-ass man is walking around with another grown-ass man in his clothes. You know, it's just a weird thing. I don't get it, because I'm from different like parts of the world from him. But if that's his thing, right? And yeah, fair play to him.
Do you think just sort of, you know, he's had these title shots, he got this title shot that you're not sure he deserved. Do you think after this one, you'll kind of prove that his time at the top of the division is over and that he spent too long on the shelf?
I believe so. You know, I can't see him because he's all turning on all the younger guys coming up. You know, he's turning on all everyone that UFC offered him and sat out for 2 years. You know, so now I can't see him winning the bout and then fighting all the young up and comers. I just can't see it happening. You know, and I think when someone like that gets stuff added to them so easily all the time, that he feels like he can do that. You know, so after being him, I truly believe he's either retire or move down probably. They keep calling out Islam, so let him go fight Islam in lightweight, you know.
The Bilal rematch, does that interest you, right? We saw it play out and, you know, you were winning that fight before the eye poke and everything. So does the rematch kind of interest you? Or in a way, do you almost feel like, I've done that already, I'd rather fight other people?
I don't know. I'd like to fight other people probably, but like I said, if I have to fight Bilal, I'll fight Bilal. You know, like I feel like I've proven that I'm way better than him anyway, just from that one round. And but yeah, if he's next, like I said, I'll happily engage in it, and it's fine. You know, like I believe that I'm going to fight them all anyway. So why not fight them all as the champion? You know, why not fight them all as the king and making money for it, making pay-per-views for it? Why not do it then? You know, so I'm going to fight them all anyway. So it doesn't matter who's next.
And you mentioned, just a quick one for me, you mentioned you know, his suit and everything, but Colby was in here saying that if he does win that, it's actually going to be Trump wrapping the belt around his waist. So what do you make of that?
I don't know. I think the whole scenario is weird. That's what I think. That's what I make of it. Like, I don't get the fascination with another man. You know, I don't get it. I know he used to be the president and stuff, but he's no longer the president. So I don't get like what's going on. And I don't know, it's just a weird, why he picked him, just to be a character off the back of him, you know, I just don't get it. And Trump ain't wrapping nothing around his waist because he ain't getting about. Trump has been to his fights before when he's lost, so Trump can't fight for him. Yeah, just need to grow up and go get a girlfriend or something.
You wouldn't want Rishi Sunak to put the belt around you, no?
Who?
You wouldn't want Rishi Sunak.
No.
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson is equivalent to that, right? It's like Boris come to put the bat around me. He's like, bro, like, no, you know what I mean?
Leon down here. Second headlining event in Las Vegas. Obviously, the first one was during COVID times. Topping the bill of a massive card, arguably the biggest card of the year. Do you think this is the perfect opportunity for you to kind of catapult yourself a bit more into global superstardom?
Yeah, for sure. I think Las Vegas is the place of dreams, right? Like everyone dreamed to come here headline. Like I said, it's my first time headlining in a sold-out arena in Las Vegas. It was that weird, like seeing myself in lights in Las Vegas, you know. And even though I've been there before, it was because of COVID. So yeah, it's I think therefore I can use this opportunity to prepare myself even more, you know. And Kamaru Usman was a pinnacle in my career for getting the belt, but now it's my time to reign, you know.
And I know you said in the past you're a big Marvin Hagler fan. Have you walked past Caesar's Palace where he fought Ray Leonard?
I went shopping there actually yesterday. Yeah. But yeah, he's one of my icons and someone I greatly look up to, you know. So RIP.
And and obviously this is Colby's third crack at the welterweight title. How satisfying will it be for you to essentially slam the door in his face in terms of title contention and potentially usher him into retirement?
I'm just focusing on me. You know, I'm not really focusing on like this is Colby's last shot. I know he ain't beating me. That's the main thing. Like whether go down to somewhere else and get a title shot, then fair play to him. You know, like my aim is not beating me, and that's it. You know, I don't give I don't care what he does with his career after that, and that's it.
Cheers, bro.
Leon, to your left. What exactly makes Leon Edwards have the most aesthetic physique in the UFC?
I think that's the good waist. The ratio from the waist to the shoulders to the back to the legs to the dick is like just perfect. It's all just perfect.
What have you made of all the new fans you've got from that? Because you go on one of your Instagram pages.
Yeah, I know. Literally every post I put up is funny. All my coaches all start ripping into me about it, but it's so funny.
Any
Fun
chance of a career in bodybuilding after the UFC?
Nah, hang on. I'm getting fat, if anything.
And putting yourself as number one, who would you put as number two, who's got the most aesthetic, other than your brother?
I don't know. I don't really judge men by bodies like that, so I don't know.
Leon over here. Obviously, I know you guys have a good relationship, but GSP is backing you this week, and I guess how's it like hearing that from a legend like him who held that very belt that you have now?
It means a lot. It means a lot. You know, he actually texted me the other night and give me advice, and just he's a great man. You know, he came to the UK before. We went out at dinner and had like a long chat. You know, so for someone that I consider the welterweight GOAT, to be not just stingy with information, but like also willing to help and willing to give advice to the young up and comers. That's chasing for his record. That's what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm trying to beat his record, trying to be the best of all time, and not being stingy with it. I think that shows the kind of person he is. You know, he's a great man, and I wish him well in his retirement. You know.
And with the MMA scene being the biggest it's ever been out in the UK, obviously you and Tom now hold belts. Does a win here help your case of potentially taking part in a stadium event out there?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like I said, having Tom now that went and took him out so quick, I think it only speaks volume to mixed martial arts in the UK, you know, and to have two champs at the same time, I think it's a perfect time to get a stadium show done. You know, I feel like we've definitely earned it over the years, and we definitely deserve it, you know. So, yeah, 100%.
And speaking of stadium events, you played in the Soccer 8 charity match. You played as a goalkeeper, and safe to say, it didn't really go out the way you wanted it to. How was that experience like playing in goal?
I think the whole experience was just sick anyway, you know, for such a good cause. And it was like mad scary as well. Everyone was like charging towards you with the ball. It was different, but like I said, something I want to do again next year because it's for a good cause, and it was fun.
And you're an Aston Villa fan. How happy are you seeing the run they're on right now in the Premier League?
Nah, I'm chuffed, you know, because like I said, when I first came to the UK, I went straight to, I live in Aston, which is where Aston Villa is, and so to see how well they're doing, and they were like the underdogs, and now they're like reigning, just similar to my story, you know, so yeah, I'm happy for them for sure.
Would that be where you want to fight at the Villa Park?
Yeah, that was sick. If that could happen, that'd be sick. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Leon,
Leon, we know that you won the title in an epic comeback fashion. You defended it, making a statement. Do you feel like that defense changed the conversation around you as a champion?
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely helped, you know. I think everyone was saying it was a fluke before when we knocked him out. So when we went out there and beat him convincingly in my hometown, I think that proved my case that I am as good as what you think I am. And so yeah, but I feel like this performance I'm going to put on Saturday night, I think that's going to be my standout performance, you know, and that's going to open eyes to just the confirmation of just how good I am, you know.
And was it a breath of fresh air this camp, not having to think about Kamaru Usman after back-to-back camps with him on your mind?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it. Even though I grew in the camps that I've had with Kamaru, it's good to have like a fresh new opponent. Similar stylistically kind of fight, but a totally different person that you got to focus on and break down, and so it's perfect.
And it seems almost impossible to get away from all of Colby Covington's comments. So do you take a almost enjoying it and finding the humor in all of the content he's producing?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Like I said, the guy's a clown, and it's easy to. He just says random shit, you know. So it doesn't make sense to nothing. You're just talking just to talk, and so it's easier to just deal with it and laugh at it, you know.
Thank you.
Leon, I feel that obviously your grappling has been very underrated through your UFC career, especially your work in the clinch. Is that where you feel that you can be a little bit dominant in this fight and kind of force Colby into a striking match?
I'm going for a mixed martial arts match. I'm not trying to keep it on the feet or on the ground or wherever. I'm willing to go where the fight goes. You know, I feel like I said, he's been taken down multiple times in the UFC. He's been choked out in the UFC. He's been hurt in the UFC. So why can't I do it? You know, I was the first guy to take Kamaru down. Everyone thought he can't be taken down. So a guy that can definitely be taken down. That's way smaller than me. So once you feel my size, my strength, and my power, I think he's gonna feel the difference. You know.
Yep, you said that you wanted to retire Colby ahead of this fight. We've not really seen you get that dark and talk about your opponents like that before. What kind of drew out those comments?
Just want to retire him? I didn't think I said that. I think someone asked me, would he retire after the fight? I was like, maybe, you know, because I said I can't see him fighting the younger guys that's coming up. Because he's turned them all down already, you know, and sat out for 2 years just not to fight them. So I can't now see him winning the bout and being a very active champion and fighting all the younger guys that's trying to come up and take his bout, you know. So so if he does lose, I think he either walks away or move down to another weight class, you know.
Last one from me. Out of the two welterweight fights that you share on the card, who do you think is standing out as your biggest opponent moving forward?
We'll see Saturday night. Like, who knows? You know, like you might say our name today, then Saturday night to get panned out. You're like, oh, but you're no longer in the running. You know, and so let's see Saturday night. You stand out, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Leon, one question over here. Got a lot of big personalities at the press conference tomorrow. 5 of the guys on stage all ultimately want to fight you. Mentally, how do you prepare to deal with all that in front of everybody?
It's good because my last fight I was a headline, you know, so I had to like sell the card. I was in my hometown. There was a lot of pressure on me, you know, so now I can sit back, let them all bicker and talk shit and go out there and perform Saturday night, you know. So I feel like it'd be an easier press conference for me because Kobe chatting shit. Who else? Paddy talks. Ian talks. They all talk, you know. So I just chill, enjoy my time, and bounce.
Thank you.
Leon down here. Are you looking forward to finally facing off with Colby after all these years of him talking breeze?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I definitely want to just have a look at him and let him know that I'm coming in to take him out, you know, and size him up. I know he's way smaller than me, but I still want to see him in person. I've seen him before in London, but I haven't actually like face off, so it'd be good to see him soon.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah, it's me. Shavkat over here. How's fight week going? A pretty big fight against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. How are you feeling ahead of UFC 296?
Как проходит неделя, как себя чувствуешь перед боем?
Бәрі жақсы, бәрі ойдағыдай. Мен дайынмын.
Everything goes as planned.
Happy to hear it. Stephen Thompson's been a guy that's been on your radar for a while. I guess when you were finally approached and they said that he was going to be willing to fight you, how excited were you for this matchup, and where do you feel like this? What do you feel like this moment means for your career?
Томпсон уже был у тебя на радаре достаточно долго, и когда ты узнал, что он согласился драться с собой, насколько ты был рад? Что этот бой для тебя значит?
Әрине мен қуаныштамын. Стивен Томпсон өте мықты жауынгер. Жасына қарамастан өте керемет жекпе-жектер көрсетіп жүр. Сондықтан да мен үшін бұл тағы бір үлкен опыт десем де болады.
Yeah, I felt very good. You know, Thompson is a great fighter. If you don't look at his age, he showed his level, you know, and that he's a top fighter. That's why I'm excited for this matchup.
And you were supposed to fight in September, so I guess how difficult before Steven signed up for this was it for you to find an opponent? I mean, that's always been an issue, right? But has this 6 months been particularly frustrating at all?
Ты должен был драться в сентябре, но бой сорвался, и тот момент, пока тебе не находили соперника, насколько это тебя раздражало, так как уже полгода ты не дрался, волновался ли ты, что не найдут соперника?
Ну, әрине, қарсыласым жарақат алып қалғаннан кейін кішкене ой болған, бірақ енді бұл спорт болғандықтан түсінікпен қараймын. Сондықтан да ешқандай ойым қайғы жоқ. Тек қана тренировканы тастамай, жақсылап дайындансам, қарсылас табылады ғой.
Yeah, I was upset that my opponent got injury, but it's a sport and I look at it with understanding. And I wasn't trying to think too much. I was just focused on the training and I was hoping that UFC going to find an opponent for me.
I think a lot of people think you're a very tricky puzzle to figure out, but Steven's very unique as a fighter as well, his karate style. So I guess having studied him for a training camp, what kind of test do you feel like you're up against on Saturday?
Многие считают, что ты тоже такой сложный пазл, который сложно разгадать, но также и Томпсон, который является специалистом, и у него достаточно уникальный стиль. При подготовке к Томпсону именно, к каким сложностям ты готовился в этом поединке?
Я әрине Стивен Томпсон ыңғайсыз қарсылас. Сондықтан да қолдан келгенше жекпе-жекке жақсылап дайындалдық. Сондай каратемен қатысатын кішкене жігіттермен осындай соққылар жасап. Мен ойлаймын, мен дайынмын, қолдан келген барлығын октагонда көрсетемін.
Yes, Stephen Thompson have a tricky style, you know, and I had to adapt to this karate-like style. Some of my training partners were imitating it, and I believe I'm ready for the fight.
Have you fought a guy like him before with that sort of karate base?
Были ли у тебя соперники похожие на него?
Жоқ.
No.
So was that a big adjustment? Was there like a lot of stuff that you had to do differently, or is it pretty much just sticking to your usual routine?
То есть было много вещей, которые тебе нужно было поменять, адаптироваться к нему, либо ты все делал как обычно?
Барлығы негізінде бірдей дайындық деуге де болады, бірақ енді шынымен айту керек. Қарсылас көп аяқпен соғатын, сондықтан кішкене ыңғайсыз футворктары кішкене басқаша екендіктен біз кішкене басқаша тактикамен кішкене жұмыс жасадық десе де болады.
Yeah, I had to make minor adjustments because of his footwork, because of his kick-heavy style, and yeah, I was working on it and was kind of adapting to his style too.
And last one for me. Stephen was in here a little while ago, and he said that he thinks this fight, if he were to get through you, would either set him up for a title eliminator or a title shot. Do you feel like you're in a similar situation?
Стивен Томпсон был здесь ранее, и он говорил, что в случае победы он будет заслуживать титульного боя или как минимум боя за право быть претендентом. Считаешь ли ты, что ты в такой же позиции?
Я әрине, маған да титульный жекпе-жекке дейін өте жақын тұрмын. Сондықтан да тек қана маған жеңіс керек.
Yeah, I believe I'm very close to the title shot. I just need to win.
Shavkat, over here, other side. Since your last fight, you know, you had tweeted at Michael Venom Page, you tweeted at Dustin Poirier. even Kelvin Gastelum, and now you have Stephen Thompson. So of all these opponents that maybe you had called out, do you think Stephen is the trickiest and most dangerous opponent that you could have been offered?
С последнего боя ты также был активен в Твиттере, были сообщения Майклу Вену Пейджу, Парье, Гастлом согласился на бой. Из всех этих соперников считаешь ли ты, что Томпсон самый неудобный, самый сложный?
Жоқ, Томпсон да мықты жауынгер, қалғандары да мықты, Пейдж болсын, Парье болсын, бірақ мен олардың барлығына дайынмын.
Thompson is a great fighter, just like as Michael Venom Page and Dustin Poirier, but I feel like I'm ready for anyone.
Last one, quick one for me. After your last win, when you had called out Colby, if you went to Colby's Instagram, all of the comments were just Kazakhstan flags. All of your fans were commenting just emojis of the flag. So I'm curious, what do you make of that and the support that your fans are now kind of going after even possible opponents for you?
После того, как ты вызвал Колби, после следующего боя, казахстанские фанаты атаковали страницу в Инстаграме его, комментируя казахстанские флаги и поддерживая тебя. Что ты думаешь о такой поддержке?
Иә, әрине, Қазақстанда мен үшін, басқа да бір Қазақстанның жауынгерлері үшін өте керемет қолдау көрсетеді біздікілер. Сондықтан да мен әрдайым не десем болады, жақсы көрем біздің болельшіктерді бір жағынан әрдайым көбінше осындай қолдау көрсетеді. Рахмет.
Yeah, our Kazakh fans are very supportive. They show the support not only to me, but to other fighters too. So what can I say? I like it, and thanks for the support.
Шавкат, ассалаумағалейкум. Осындамын. 4 рет қатарынан Лас-Вегасте жұдырықтастың. Томпсон мен жекпе-жек 5-ші болады. Осы қаланы жақсы білесің деп ойлаймын. Саған осы жерде барлығы ұнайды ма? Translate, it will be your 5th in a row fight in Las Vegas. Do you like this place?
Иә, әрине, 5-ші жекпе-жегім осы Лас-Вегас қаласында. Бұлайна мен бұл жерге тек қана жекпе-жек үшін келгенім үшін мен көп қалаға да көп шықпаймын, көп қыдырмаймыз, тек қана салмақ түсіру, дайындық, ары қарай жекпе-жек, сонан кейін ары қарай үйге қайтамыз. Сондықтан Лас-Вегас енді бұл город развлечения дейді ғой, енді бұл келіп демалып кететін жерлер. Бірақ енді бізде басқа мақсат болғандықтан біз ондай көп демала алмаймыз.
Yeah, really, it's my 5th time fighting in Las Vegas, but my main goal to come here to fight, to prepare for the fight, cut weight. That's why I didn't see much of a city yet. I know that Vegas is a city of entertainment, but we're here not to be entertained, but to entertain.
Екінші сұрағым, Колби жаңа сұхбатта сен туралы жаман сөздер айтты, бірақ біз білеміз, қазақтарда намыс бар, және біздің спортшыларымыз осындай трэш-токты қолданбайды. Бірақ сен ол туралы не айтасың, мүмкін жауап бересің бе? Translate, Colby talked some bad words about you, and we know that Kazakh fighters don't like trash talk. Maybe will you answer to Colby Covington?
Иә, әрине, Колби Covington көп жасайтын жауынгер. Бұлайна енді сөздерін бетпе-бет кездескен кезде ештеңке айта алмайды ол қазір. Ол біліп тұр, адамдар қасында, камераның қасында сөйлей беруі мүмкін. Алай бірде-бір, екеуміз бірде қазақ, ондай сөздерді басқашалап айтатын болады.
Yeah, we know Colby likes to trash talk, especially when he's in front of the cameras, but I know when he's face-to-face with me, he's not going to say anything.
Рахмет.
Shafkat, right over here. Recently, a video came out of your sister's wedding, and you were FaceTiming her. With that being said, that sacrifice that you make on a daily, how do you reflect on those moments in your pursuit of your dream?
Недавно было видео, что у твоей сестренки была свадьба, и ты не мог ее посетить. По фейстайму звонил ей. И что ты думаешь о том, о каких жертвах ты должен делать для того, чтобы дойти к своей цели?
Иә, әрине, бұл спорт деген дайындық кезінде максимально сфокусироваться надо. Сондықтан да мен енді той деген жақсы, бірақ менің жұмысым бөлек. Сондықтан да мен бара алған жоқпын. Бұлайна не десем болады, менде өте маңызды жекпе-жек, сондықтан да бәрі түсінеді ғой. мен басқа жағынан қолдау көрсетемін.
Yeah, wedding celebration is good, but my job is to get ready for the fight, and I have to be completely focused during the fight camps. That's why I cannot make a trip back to Kazakhstan. But everyone understands it, and this is a very big and meaningful fight for me. That's why I have to prioritize that.
I also want to ask too. So, making your mark as a fighter, there's a lot of things that fighters put that on. Some being conditioning, some being their physical abilities. Something interesting came out the other day that you eat horse meat. For us here in America, it's not a thing that we normally do. However, I was just curious how that came to be for you. Was it a cultural thing? Is that something that has helped you just in terms of elevating your skill and everything in between? I was just curious how that came to be.
Многие международные бойцы привносят какие-то свои культурные моменты, и недавно вышла новость о том, что ты любишь конину. И что это она для тебя значит? Это какая-то культурная, традиционная вещь, либо она тебе больше помогает в подготовке и так далее?
Жоқ, енді әрбір қазақтың былай неткенде қанда бар, біз енді ет жегенде жақсы көреміз, сондықтан да жылқының еті енді аса маңызды ғой. Енді біз былай айтқанда мінеміз, сүтін ішеміз, қымызын ішеміз, етін жейміз, сондықтан да жылқы бізге өте қасиетті жануар. Енді біз көптер түсінбейді, енді Шавқат жылқыны жақсы көреді, жылқыны етін жейді деген сияқты. Біз енді қатты мінетін, или көкпарға шабатын, или шабатын аттарды жемейміз. Не уайымдамаңыздар, бізге тек қана жейтін жылқыларымыз аса жақсылап, не десем, бағып, дайындап, семіртіп.
Yeah, like eating meat is in every Kazakh's blood, and eating horse meat has been our more than century like tradition. And a lot of people say like Shafkat loved horses, but also he liked to eat horses. But we have to separate the horses that we ride and have at home. We don't eat them. Like it's a separate type of horses that we raise to eat, and it's been our culture and tradition.
Culturally speaking, is that something for you that's a good luck charm, or is there something else for you going into this fight that's a good luck charm?
Можно ли сказать, что поедание конины это как бы тебе на удачу, либо есть что-то другие вещи, которые ты считаешь тебе приносят удачу?
Не, ол жылқының етін жеңіп жеңіске жету деген әрине ол күш қуат береді, қымыз. Бұлайына сен дайындалмасаң бәрі бекер.
I cannot say that, like horse and like horse milk, it's a very nutritious food, but that's not something that brings luck, but it helps in preparation.
And last thing for me, I'm just curious on your thoughts on this welterweight championship bout between Leon and Colby. Who do you got?
И мысли о главном бое, титульном в вашем весе, кто ты считаешь победит, Колби или Эдвардс?
Білмеймін қайсы жеңетін, бірақ чемпионда шанс кішкене көбірек деп ойлаймын. Жайдан жай чемпион емес, бірақ мен екеуіне де дайынмын. Кім чемпион болса, мен жекпе-жек өткізуге дайынмын.
I don't know who's going to win, but I believe the champion has an advantage. He's a champion for a reason. But doesn't matter who's going to win, I'm ready for anyone.
Great, thank you. Good luck Saturday.
Shafkat, back here. If you go out there and finish Wonderboy Thompson, do you feel you'll leapfrog Bilal Muhammad and get the title shot next?
Если ты досрочно победишь Томпсона, считаешь ли ты, что ты обойдешь Мухаммада в титульной гонке?
Дұрыс, сондай деп ойлаймын мен де, бірақ UFC оны шешеді, бірақ мен дайынмын, айтқанымдай мен тезірек осы UFC-ның белбеуін Қазақстанға үйге алып баруға тырысамын.
Yes, correct. I believe that if I finish Thompson, I should be up for the title shot, and my goal is to win the belt and bring back to Kazakhstan.
Thank you.
Shafkat, you've had the chance to work with Ian Gary and Vicente Luque with your time at Killcliff. Who do you think is going to win that fight?
Ты тренировался и с Иеном Герри, и Висенте Люке. Как ты считаешь, кто победит в этом поединке?
Білмеймін, кім мықты болады, сол жеңіске жетеді деп ойлаймын.
I don't know who's going to be more ready at that fight night. He's going to win.
Yourself and Ian are touted as the biggest prospects in the welterweight division. Can you see you facing off with Ian down the line?
Тебя Иена Герри считают одним из главных проспектов в этом дивизионе. Считаешь ли ты, что в будущем вы можете встретиться?
Я әрине, екеумізді жекпе-жектерімізді жеңіске жете берсек, кездесіп қалуымыз мүмкін.
Yes, if we keep winning, you know, there's a chance that we're gonna fight.
How do you think a fight with you and Ian Gary will go?
Как ты считаешь, ваш бой с Иэном Герри прошел бы?
Мен жеңісіммен аяқталатын сияқты, Құдай қаласа.
Yeah, with God's willing, I'm gonna win.
Thank you.
Shavkat, over here. When you think of like Kazakhstan combat, a lot of people think about you, but they also think about Triple G over in boxing. Do you hope to have that legacy he carries over, but in MMA?
Когда говорят о единоборствах в Казахстане, многие говорят не только о тебе, а также о Головкине. Считаешь ли ты, что ты также можешь оставить свое наследие в ММА, как Головкин в боксе?
Иә, әрине, мен көп жетістікке, көп нәтижелерге ерістім. Сондықтан да мен де уақыт келіп осындай Головкин емес, енді менің өзімді атым ба, менің былай қарасам, мен ММА-дан, ол бокстан біздің егеміз тарихта қаламыз, Құдай қаласа.
Yes, surely I have a goal to leave my legacy in MMA, and hopefully him in boxing and me in MMA both leave our history, like make a history in these both sports.
I saw you linked up with them not too long ago. How was that exchange like?
Он видел, что вы виделись с Головкиным также. Что ты можешь сказать об этой встрече?
Жақсы, сөйлесіп, танысып, бірінші рет кездесу болды.
Yeah, we met each other for the first time. We just had a little chat. That's it.
Thank you.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Vicente, how's it going, man?
Good.
Good. How's your week going so far?
So it's been good, man. You know, excited. You know, big show, great week. Camp has been good, so I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, and I know you're obviously familiar with your opponent from when you guys used to train. Can you just kind of talk about like how much you guys did? Like, what was your relationship like when he was at your gym?
Yeah, I mean, we trained a lot together. I met him in New York in his first fight. I was an alternate for the Kobe Kamaru fight, and that's when we met each other. And since then, we trained a lot at Killcliff, and it was always a good time. You know, he's a very fun guy to be around, and we always had a really good relationship in there in the gym. And yeah, well, other than that, I think that, you know, it wasn't much more outside of the gym. We didn't really hang out that much, but we did have a great time in the gym. We did train a lot together, and even like I always looked at him as a guy with a lot of talent that I wanted to pick up some things on, and I think we exchanged a lot of things like that too, trying to kind of inputs on each other's game.
And so I guess where do things kind of stand now, right? Because it started out, you guys were booked against each other, and you guys shared a pretty nice back and forth. And since then, like I've seen he's commented some things on your Instagram posts and stuff. So I guess, is it weird now? Do you think that was just kind of a one-off comment? Or I guess, what do you feel about him when you think of Ian Gary now?
I mean, you know, there was a comment that I found disrespectful, so it definitely bothered me. But at the same time, you know, maybe he's just wanting to be funny or whatever, and I get it. You know, we make mistakes sometimes. Other times we just are trying to, you know, I don't know, sell the fight or whatever. And what I do is like, I'm not gonna take it personally. I'm here for business. I'm here to compete. And still, you know, I think that after, we'll see whatever happens after the fight. You know, I think he's a nice guy. If he's ever going to train with us again or not, I don't know. If he goes, maybe goes there, train with us, we'll train again. We'll see. I think right now we're opponents. We're gonna face each other. I have respect for all of my opponents. It's not different with him, you know. And but we're gonna go in there and we're gonna fight each other now.
Yeah, and I mean that was what I was going to ask. Is like you seem to be handling this all very well, but is it like weird at all? Like that? I don't know if you've gone through something like this before. Have you, where you fought somebody you've sparred with this much?
No, no, this is the first time. I mean, I've had rematches, and that's like you kind of know the guy, you know your opponent, and also I've trained with Bilal before we had the second fight, but this one is different. We definitely train much more. We train a lot, you know, not in the last year that much, but before that we did train a lot. So it's different, you know. It's facing somebody that I know closely in a way, but I don't know. For me, is when it's fight time and like already when it's fight week, it's kind of like it's different for me. You know, this is time for battle. It's time for war. It doesn't matter if you're my enemy, if you're my friend, if you're, you know, if you respect me or if you disrespect me. It's still I'm gonna do the same thing inside the octagon. I'm gonna go in there, try to take you out, be it by knockout or submission. If not, we'll go to the decision. But I'm gonna try to dominate you.
From your training with him and from your studying and just this camp in general, I guess, how tricky of a puzzle is he to figure out? Because we haven't seen anybody be able to figure him out so far. So I guess how do you go out there and do it?
Yeah, I mean, he is, you know, a really young, talented guy, undefeated, you know, for a reason. He's very skilled, and I watched a lot of tape, you know, trying to find openings. I don't really base myself that much in our training because I think training is different than a fight. So obviously I have, you know, some knowledge of what he does. He has some knowledge of what I do as well, but a fight is a fight. It's different. There we're really going at it. So for me, it's kind of like I studied a lot. I worked a lot on what I believe that I could do against him, you know, and at the same time work on what I've always done of good and my strength. So it's kind of a mix of a little bit of what I can explore out of his game, but also believing a lot in my game and knowing that I can put the pressure. I have the experience to take him, you know, to places where maybe he hasn't been before, and then we'll see how he's going to react.
Hi, Vicente, just right here. I just have one for you. It looks like maybe Ian may not be coming to media day, and there's been rumors that he may not come to the press conference. What do you think of that? The fact that he's not potentially not doing these media obligations that you're having to do.
I don't know. I believe that if he's not gonna do it, it might. I'm not really into all that is going on. I've just heard a little bit about stuff, and I did hear that he's concerned with his family and all that. So if that is the reason, I mean, I have his back. I think the biggest thing that we have is our family, and whenever, you know, somebody disrespects our family or you know, crosses that line, I think it's a big problem. So I think it's very unfortunate all that has gone on, you know, regarding him and his family. I think that, you know, that's something super disrespectful, and I understand, you know. So if he feels better like that, I think he has to do what he has to do. You know, it's obviously we have these obligations, but he's opening, you know, if he doesn't come here, he's also in a loss in a way, because it's media that he's going to lose, is an opportunity, you know, to share his side of the story, and that he's going to lose. So he is sacrificing something as well. So, but in order, you know, to have his family safety and everything. So, you know, it's his decision at the end of the day.
Vicente, over here. Obviously, Ian's bounced around from a few gyms now, and he seems to be pretty settled in Brazil with Chuta Boxing. So I'm curious, what do you make of him kind of teaming up with that team right now and Charles down there?
I actually I love that team. You know, I love Charles. I also, you know, Diego Lima. He's a great guy. I know him for a while back. I have never trained with them, but it was always a team that I looked up to. You know, Chuta Box back in the days with Vanderlei, Shogun. All these guys are guys that I had as idols for me. So I think it's great for Ian. You know, it's probably I'm sure that he got a very good work over there. And if he did get, you know, let's say, kind of the, you know, Chuta Box is known for the aggressiveness. So if he got that from them, I think it's going to be an even more amazing fight Saturday night.
Sent over here. You mentioned in your last meeting today that Ayrton Senna is one of your idols, given that you're a big fan of motorsports. When you're in the cage, do you feel any sense of adrenaline that you would feel inside a fast car?
Yeah, for sure. I think, that's my hobby is racing cars, going to the track, going to car meets. But whenever I can actually take a car like to the limits in a track and things like that, that's, I think, the closest that I can get to a fight in adrenaline, in that sensation. And it is addicting in a way. That's why I love fighting so much. But we don't get to fight, I don't know, 10 times a year. I can only fight 2 or 3. So cars and motorsports is something that kind of makes me feel that a little bit more often during the year, and just be able, to take it in between fights, take that time off and rest my body and have fun on cars.
Awesome. And shifting gears back to this card, big welterweight night in general for the whole division. What type of statement do you think you need to make in order to stand out above the rest of the welterweights competing?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect night for me to fight. I was really excited when this fight got offered, exactly because I'm going to be fighting with the same night as the title is going to be, decided. We have Wonderboy and Shafkat, another big fight, and I just feel this moment in the division, it's open for grabs. Anybody can, maybe 2 or 3 fights, be right there for a title fight, and that's the plan. Beating Ian Gary is not only one more win, it's a win against a guy that has a lot of hype, that, even like has the skill to fit that hype, because he's a very skilled guy, undefeated. And beating him, I think, moves me up to that top 5. And then next year, maybe 1 or 2 fights, I could be the next, challenger for the title. So it's a big fight for me, a big weekend for me.
For sure. And just the last one for me. How do you see those other 2 big welterweight fights going down?
So I got Shafkat. Obviously, we trained together a lot for this fight, and I've seen him, and he's super ready for this fight. I think it's, and there's also like Wonderboy's a beast. I fought Wonderboy. He beat me, but I just feel like this moment is later on his career. It's the end of his career right now. While Shafkat is up and coming, he's a beast. I believe on Shafkat's victory, and on the main event, I'm gonna go with Leon. Just for me, it's I don't know. He's been active. He's coming off great wins over Kamaru, which is a tough guy to beat, and it's just, I think it's his moment right now. Colby hasn't fought for a while. We don't know what we're gonna see, so I'm gonna go with Leon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Vicente, with you and Ian knowing each other so well, is there any thought process of digging deeper into your bag of tricks, or particularly needing to do something unpredictable in this fight?
I think that it's a mix of that. I definitely can be unpredictable when I need to. I could just, be really aggressive as well, but I can be patient, calm and collected, pick my shots, and I think a mix of that. So using my experience, that's going to be really important in this fight. I know that I could grapple with him. I could wrestle with him. I believe I have a good, physical ability to go at a high pace during all the rounds, cardio-wise. But also, I know that I can put him in danger in the striking. So the fact that I have all these tools, and he doesn't know which I'm going to use, and I can choose to use different ones depending on how the fight goes. So I think those are keys for me to win.
And last one from me. Do you feel your experience will play an advantage? You've been in some main event scenarios against former world champions, and Ian is having a lot of distractions thrown at him during this camp. Do you feel that your experience and ability to focus will play a factor on Saturday?
For sure, definitely. I think that, I have over 30 fights. I fought, as you said, former champions. I've had 5-rounders. I've had fights that I was losing and I was able, to overcome. So there's many situations I've lived through that prepare me for many outcomes in this fight, and I feel that gives me an advantage against him, especially, considering like everything that is going on. There's certainly a lot of pressure on his back, but at the same time, like when I see and try to anticipate who I'm gonna get, I am ready for the best Ian Gary, for the best in skill, best in mindset, and ready for the most dangerous Ian Gary that I can face.
Thank you.
Vicente, obviously you came off a pretty serious health scare after your fight with Jeff Neal. Is that something that lingers over you in terms of preparation, sparring, etc., when you're getting ready for fights now?
I mean, that was something that right when I got out of the injury and the whole recovery, it was a big thing I was thinking about working. I do sports psychology for many years, you know, with in Brazil with my psychologist there, and that has helped me a lot to overcome not only losses but a moment like that. So I feel like right now, after I fought RDA, that really was the moment where I saw, okay, I'm fully healed, I'm fully recovered, and I'm back, you know, to the winning ways. I'm back to performing at a high level. So from that moment on, it hasn't been a concern anymore. I focus on just developing myself, getting better, and now focusing on getting a big win against Ian.
In terms of, like, you know, when you have news like that and you think you might not be able to fight again, I assume it gives you a new lease of life and, you know, somewhat of a second opportunity to go and not only win this fight against Ian Garry, but maybe mount somewhat of a title charge over the next year or so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we look at what I went through outside, it's already like a tough thing. But living it inside is even tougher, you know, overcoming all the challenges that was that recovery. I just feel like every day after that is a blessing, you know. God gave me another opportunity to do what I love, that is fighting MMA, that is performing here in the UFC and putting on a show for everybody. So for all that I see now is all blessings from here. So for sure, I'm chasing this title. And I believe deeply in my heart I'm going to be a champion. So it's all good from here.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vicente, just wondering, with the press conference coming up tomorrow, obviously you got a lot of big voices and personalities out there. I mean, for yourself, who's a little more laid back, how do you prepare to handle all that in front of everybody?
I don't think I prepare much. I just, you know, I go there and I'm ready to see. If they want to ask me questions, I'll answer. If guys want to say anything to me, I mean, I'll see how I react at the moment. You know, I don't really get prepared for these moments. I just think that it's part of the show, and I'm glad to be part of it. That means, like, it's a big fight, it's a big weekend. I'm one of the big fights that everybody expects, you know, to put on a good show. So I just enjoy this process, enjoy this moment.
When you're up there and you have an event like this, is there ever pressure? Like, for example, let's say if Steven or Shavkat were to start talking a lot to Leon Edwards, do you ever feel like you need to do something so you don't get lost in the conversation after Saturday?
No. I mean, my talk has always been inside the octagon, and that's where, you know, not only, I don't believe in trying to force myself into doing something that I'm not in order to get people's attention. And what I am is a fighter. What I can do, like, as good as anybody or better than anyone else, is fight with all my heart. And that's where I talk. That's where I let my, you know, my light shine. And that's gonna be it, you know. And if tomorrow I'm lost in the press conference, I have no problem with that. Saturday night, that's where everybody's gonna see what I'm gonna do.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, guys.
What's up, boys? How's everybody doing? You guys are dead again. Every time I walk in here, everybody's so quiet. Fuck, it's Tony. I don't know what he's saying. I'm in a good mood today, boys. You guys are recording me, so I'm going to record you for a second. Everybody say, what's up?
What's up?
What's up? Yeah. All right, okay.
Well, Tony, you certainly seem to be in fine spirits this fight week. What exactly has you so cheerful?
It's awesome. It was a great camp. I'm excited to be here, enjoying fight week because all the hard work is done in the haze in the barn, brother.
You know, when people see this matchup on paper, right, they kind of have some presumptions. They sort of think, oh, are the UFC trying to build Paddy off the name of Tony Ferguson? When you got Paddy's name across the desk, what did you think about it?
I thought he was fat. I don't know if he was going to make weight. All jokes aside, you know, I always have these hashtags, so coming after Patty Cakes was pretty easy, especially when he started talking shit. Got the kid nervous, so I think it's a great matchup. Obviously, he's got a winning record. I got a losing record right now with that, but overall, I have a lot more fights and experience, and I'm going to cut this kid, man.
You know, we see these prospects come and go in this sport, right? And some of them, you know, they hit the stage, you think, wow, this guy's real special. And other them, they kind of stumble and maybe their skills don't match the hype. When you look at Paddy as a prospect, what do you think of him and his ability in the cage?
He's a fighter, and he's in my way. I don't really have too many words for it. The seriousness comes out the closer we get to fight. He's worried about me blocking him on fucking Instagram, and I'm like, you're a little bitch. It's like, if you're going to talk fucking shit, man up and fucking keep your balls between your legs. Don't drop them like a little bitch.
He actually said about that earlier today when he was here that you might be the sensitive one if you're the one blocking him on Instagram.
I just didn't want to see his bullshit. I know he's all about the YouTube and all the other things, and he's got his fucking wigs and a crowd and everything. I'm not here to fucking have fun. I might have did that before, like, you know, taking some chances, giving these fighters like an alley-oop to where they're at right now. But I'm not fucking around anymore. Like, I can point and prove that through my team. I don't have to show anybody anything, but when after a session when everybody's clapping, it's not because they're doing it to try to hype you up. Or when you're cracking pads and everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit, this is different kind of sound. And the other day I had to tell somebody shut the fuck up because they were being really loud when I was doing my Brett Okamoto interview, and they came in the room and they said, well, you could be a little bit more nice. And I said, fuck you. I'm not here to be everybody's friend. I'm not here to give hugs to everybody. I'm not here to do that shit no more. I had, you know, Chief Goggins, I got my other teammates, and I have my other trainers that really help center my shit. And if you're not my wife and my kids or my team, I'm going to say fuck off. I'm here until after the fight, and then you guys can be nice. I'll be nice.
I saw Mr. Goggins in your corner. How has it been training with him? What did you make of the reaction to your training with him, and how excited are you to have him as part of your team?
Shit. On the reality part, it was hard as fuck. One of the hardest things I've done in my life. I'm glad I did it. To be real, I didn't know what Chief was about. I really didn't. But I kept in really contact with him. I knew that I needed to do it. And I showed up, no questions asked, no bullshit. It was always, yes, sir, yes, coach. And it didn't matter what time it was or what we had to do. No questions. No how many are we doing, no how long are we going to go, no whatever. I was saying to my team, it was like the only question I had was to the menu, looking at the menu to myself, was like, what can I eat to keep the food down? Because I was throwing everything up that week, and once that bullshit stopped, it didn't stop for a while, man. It was just the biggest mental fucking alley-oop that I've needed to get my shit together. And I'm very glad for it. And now it's very cool because yesterday we went to training at the compound and felt back at home. You know, everybody wants to get nervous when they go back to somewhere like that. Fuck no, I felt like home. I was smiling my ass off, and it's cool to see, you know, Chief, call him Chief, and I'm fucking excited because I did all the work, man.
Last one from me. You know, when you look at this fight, it's against the younger guy, right? The flashier guy, maybe. But how do you get it done on Saturday night?
I'm going to hit him hard. I'm going to set the pace. I'm going to make his face a ketchup sandwich is what I tell my kid. And I'm going to go in there and use my blades and my my technique. I say shades, but I can't bring my shades in there. If I could, I'd fucking fight with sunglasses, you bastards. So I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna do work. My confidence is fully there. Everybody's worrying about me just doing cardio and, oh, you haven't posted your sparring or you haven't posted pad work and you haven't. Bitch, I don't need to post that shit for you guys. I really don't. You guys can go look at other people's pages and then get that shit off of that and then come back to my page and bitch and moan. You know, you guys can go and do whatever the fuck you want, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and you guys are going to watch me regardless this Saturday.
Tony, when you linked up with Mr. Goggins first, was that, when you reached out to him, was it to get physically right? Was it to get like a mental focus thing? Or why specifically did you want to train with him?
I've said it before, that's classified. It was like I said, I needed it. I really did. I haven't had somebody push me like that and not float my balloon any more higher than it needed to be. It needed to get to where it needed was. I needed to throw up. I needed to get yelled at. I needed to go through that fucking hell weekend. It was not easy. I know there's not one other person in this world that could have went through that mental stuff, the physical, the emotional. Bringing whatever I had to bring in there was everything I had to give. And I still have more to give. And that's why this weekend I'm going to show it.
And I think you're one of the more tenured fighters, if not the most tenured fighters on this fight card, having fought in the UFC the longest. So obviously you've seen the prospects come and go to the lightweight division. So I'm curious, where does this hype around Paddy kind of rank in your mind and from all the past future contenders you've seen?
I don't know the hype. I don't pay attention to the bullshit. I just know that he talks a lot and I can't understand him half the time. And I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I'm not here to entertain him. I'm not here. The last time I entertained a young fighter like that was Landon Venata, and he dotted me, little fucker. You know, props. What's up, Landon? I always said that, but I'm not doing that again. I'm not taking it easy on anybody. I'm not here to alley-oop any other fucking dudes. I'm not sandbagging. I'm here. I'm back to where I needed to be, much better than I ever have been. I'm faster. I'm stronger. I'm more mentally strong than any fucking person that's going to be here that walks through these fucking cage walls, that has ever been through these cage walls. You guys will see on Saturday, it's hardly not going to be the same me. It's a lot tougher now.
Tony, over here. Speaking of your longevity, I guess, what are kind of the goals right now for you? Obviously, go out there, get a win on Saturday, but what kind of keeps you going and doing all this stuff and reinventing yourself and putting yourself through these really hard, grueling workouts? What gets you up in the morning?
My breakfast. I mean, what gets me up in the morning? What gets you up in the morning? For every person.
Like, what keeps you motivated to fight?
Hold on, brother. I'm talking.
Apologize.
Being real. Like, you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. Like, I'm smiling. I'm having fun. Usually my interviews are really super serious, and they're doing that. It would be serious, and life would be a lot harder if I wasn't working harder. But I find myself getting up in the morning, easy, wanting to do the next fucking thing. Like, it's no doubt, like, I go to bed late because I have to finish my sets. If I'm not finishing my sets, I get up early in the morning and I do it again. But I set these goals for myself, and I don't even think twice about it. I have to say, training with Chief, it really helped set the standard. I was doing that before, but then it was a lot easier when I got through Hell Week because it was just automatic now. It's where I needed to be. It was the military style where I needed to be, almost like when I was at Grand Valley State. You know, most of my coaches are military too, and I react very well with that. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be somewhere else. And waking up would be the exact same fucking thing, which is fucking seizing the day and that devil being like, holy shit, he's up again.
And to put it in perspective for us, how do you feel this fight week compared? Like, are you just totally refreshed, rejuvenated, physically, mentally, just firing on all cylinders? Like, if you were to place yourself back to that last fight week compared to now?
I'm really not even thinking about it. I mean, it wasn't really me. I'm gonna be real. It was me, obviously, but it wasn't the whole thing of me. It's just always been trying to find that happiness in training, trying to find that happiness wherever it is, you know, finding my smile. My wife, I'll say it again, I get tired of my own fucking stories. She sent me a text, and it hit home, where she said, you're not smiling anymore in practice. I don't see you smiling in practice. I don't see you smiling at your fights. I don't see you having fun anymore. But it wasn't, It wasn't, are you sure you want to do this? Like how everybody is, or you're washed up, you know, you need to retire. And because she knows, she's seen me train my ass off, and she's seen me bloody these fucking dudes up before my kids have ever been born. And she's been through a lot, like watching me train, and she knows. Even my parents don't know, but she knows. And she sent me that fucking text, and I tell everybody, it's funny as fuck. I couldn't say anything back because I actually read it, and I cared about it because I was like, if somebody would tell me something, I'd be like, fuck off. I'd be like, you don't know shit. You know, like, the fuck you, why are you telling me this shit? And she sent it to me, and I was trying to text back, trying to think of what I could say back, and then I said, fuck, delete it. I write another thing, and I was like, damn it. I fucking wrote back again. I was like, fuck! She's right. And I got pissed. Not at anybody else. I got pissed at myself. And it was the one thing that I needed to hear, to read. And I was getting myself back, but no, it was a fucking fire starter that I needed to fucking have to get to where I needed to fucking go. And I started asking for help. Outside of my box. Getting outside of my own fucking self to get myself to where I fucking needed to go. Because I had a team. I had a 12-fight win streak, and the pandemic fucking hit. It took a fucking full pandemic for me to lose. I scared the fuck out of those internationals. They didn't want to fucking be in that ring with me. Mom said to them, don't come back if you lose. That dude is not going to get out of the cage. I don't even fucking say his name anymore. I'm not going to give him that fucking gratitude to fucking say shit. You know what I'm talking about. But it took a full fucking pandemic for me to lose because I wanted to fucking go out there and show how tough I was. I wanted to get hit by Gaethje. I wanted to feel that pain. I wanted to feel something real because all of that shit didn't feel fucking real. It was all fake. It was the craziest time. But you know what? I wanted to go out there and show how tough we were, and I wanted to show like a brotherhood, and that's how much I fucking hated it because I was being nice. I went through managements, I went through belts, I went through all this shit, and I carried that shit with me, and I was carrying everybody else's cross. And I had a really good person tell me that every person has to carry their own cross. Mine's heavy, and I got big shoulders, but damn, it gets hard to fucking carry everybody. And I had to focus on myself. So I hope I answered your question.
Tony, back here. 12 years ago, you became the Ultimate Fighter on season 13 of the show. Fast forward to 2023, you're one of the biggest stars in the promotion. What has been your biggest takeaway from your career up until this point?
How deadly I can be. Control chaos. How fully violent I can be with this stuff. It takes a lot for me to be able to kind of like explode and kind of do that shit, especially like when people are rude. Giving people their space and then being able to do this, but honing in on what the fuck I have to do. Like I said, I had somebody explain to me, Chief, a lot of things, and set some prerogatives and right in place where I had to focus on what I was doing for here. Yeah, I want to go back to school. I want to have I have a business. I want to do all these things. I want to go back to school, be a doctor. And I have all this, you know. Everybody was kind of bullshitting. Like, you're going to go back to school? Yeah, I went to HBS. It was cool. But I'm trying to do all this shit, and I'm not putting everything in fighting. I wasn't putting whole heart and soul and everything into it because this is dangerous. But I'm a dangerous motherfucker. And I had to open my eyes to how much damage I can do to these dudes. And look at that picture where I'm smiling with my fang fucking mouthpiece. And you got from Cowboy to Pettis and everybody in between that are looking like they got hit worse than a fucking car. They look like they fell off a fucking plane. These dudes were damaged and they changed their fucking life. And that's what I do. And then all of a sudden, I allowed people to want to get in that ring, that cage. And when I started seeing that, I started to accept it. Fuck no, I'm back to where the fuck I need to be. And that's how Brock and Chief and everybody else that I have allowed to be in my close circle to understand that I am a deadly motherfucker. It doesn't matter, I don't need weapons. Imagine if I did. I'm deadly without them.
After completing Hell Week with Mr. Goggins, was there anything that you learned about yourself that might have stood out to you?
Yeah, what kind of food I should eat before training. Shit, no bullshit. It was the hardest fucking thing I've been through, and I'm glad. Like I'm telling you, like mentally, it was the coolest shit because nobody can break me, and I knew I had to go in there not with that attitude, but damn, dude, coach, sir, chief, he damn near broke me, and I didn't know he was testing me. I didn't know what the fuck was going on because we went through a lot. And I remember the first day we went through like maybe an hour of workout, and I thought we were done. Fuck no, we had 2 more hours left, and I was like, holy shit, this is real. But it had not one time or thought to stop, leave, do whatever. Fuck no. Run to the bathroom, come right back, and then try to get my reps back up to where I missed, to make up the time like during that time. And then it became that the people that were around and working with us or working, they would hand me these puke bags, the little blue ones. It was the fuck, I can't run to the bathroom and fucking catch my breath. Fuck no, it was like it was the realest fucking thing, and it was what I needed to fucking do this, because those little puke bags, I used to have those for my kid when we were riding the car, and I'm like, man, I would get so annoying because like, what the fuck are these? And now I'm using them. I'm like, that's the most humbling shit that it was. So it was a crazy experience. I'm very grateful. Thank you, sir, for allowing me to be able to go in the compound and be able to do what we needed to do. Like everybody else, fuck you. Being real, like everybody thinks it's easy. Everybody on Instagram, they can fucking say whatever the fuck they want. They want to train with them, and it's an experience. It's a life-changing shit. I haven't even read Sir's book because I have him right here. Like, it's different. Like, everybody else, you don't like it, fuck off. Go somewhere else.
Thank you, Tony.
Hey, Tony, right here. Speaking of Chief, as going through your training and everything like that, he's very well known for some of the quotes from "They don't know me, son" to "Who gonna carry the logs," and also talking to John Jones of, you know, where his world ends, yours begins. For you, is there any quote from him that he was telling you through time and time again that resonates now?
960. No hands. Commands. I didn't know that he worked with John Jones. I didn't know his quotes. I didn't know anything. I knew that he was a tough son of a gun, in that it's all about respect. And home, I think you know what? I've always been able to cut and edit on my Instagrams, and I've always been able to do that. First time ever, I wasn't able to do that. It was like 10:30, I think it was, and I'm trying to get like the first video out on Monday. I couldn't fucking do it. I was doing the doze, falling asleep as I'm doing this, and I said, fuck it. I put my phone down and I went to bed. I'd never do that. Never fucking do that. I was spent. And I didn't know this till after. So it was like, she was like, he's done. He's done. They were planning the rest of their week. And then the next morning, I got life. He comes in, ready, Tony? Yes, sir. Let's go. Got ready, did everything we had to do, and then we got back out on the field and did it.
I also want to ask, too, off of that visceral reaction.
Oh, yeah, wait, one more thing. Hold on. Wait, I'm not going to say hold on, brother. But then it was the funniest shit because every time I would go to sleep, I would wake up like super fast. Like it was just like thinking like, you know, I was still training. And I get home and my wife was like, last night you woke up like really fast and you said something. And I was blurting out numbers. And these are the commands and numbers that we had to do when we were doing like bike. Like one of my training partners did only, how many minutes did he do? 3 minutes. I would do, I don't know, how many minutes did I do on the bike? And he was done. I won't say names, man, but it was like the craziest shit. So I remember sleeping and I punched the air like, 60! Where am I at? Like, and now, that's real. That was crazy, but yeah.
Perfect. That answered that question. And then with that being said, through this training process, how has it not only helped you, obviously it's helped you as a fighter, but how has it helped you as a man, as a father, as a husband?
It brought me home. Brought me home where I needed to be. That's pretty much it.
And then last thing for me, looking forward towards this fight. Patty had talked when he was up here saying that he's watched you as a kid when he was like around 15. For you, I know there's some beef and everything like that, but do you take that as a compliment? Do you take that as disrespect? How do you gauge that quote there?
I don't give a fuck what he says. If somebody else would have said it, I'd be like, that's cool, man. But no, fuck him. I don't give a fuck, dude. You had your chance to be nice and do this shit, and I'm fucking glad that you know it. You had a change of heart. You listened to everybody else, and I'm washed up. That means I'm cleaned up, feel fresh. So this little fucker's gonna get his hands full on fucking Saturday. So he's gonna have a taste of real shit.
Good luck Saturday.
Tony, right over here. Tony, I think the fans, you might have to them one of the best walkouts with your music and everything. Where did you first find that song, and just what has stuck with it for you to always have it for your walkouts?
Old school family barbecues in the 805. Friends, family, awesome. Just the smell, the aura, the good vibes, the smiles. And I was in Michigan. I always missed that. It was like the one thing that I missed the most was being around that. And then just family was always playing old school music, just funk. And I'm a funky dude when I'm fighting. I'm a funky dude when I'm wrestling. And I do everything with the tempo and a style that's just nobody else's. So it just fit, man. It really did. And in that song, he says, don't be walking around like a star trying to act, or don't be walking around trying to act like a star. A lot of people are fake. They want to act like they know everything because a lot of people are looking at them and they want to be a completely different person. Fuck no, I'm the same fucking asshole everywhere. So I would just fit in right, and I love it. And I like to dance too, and it's got a funky beat, so yeah.
You are the UFC's expert at this. In your opinion, what does it take to be a sunglasses guy?
Can't answer that, man. When I first started, it's always been sunglasses. Even before then, when I was little, it was always going to the mall, buying the $20 sunglasses, wearing them everywhere, doing my thing with my aviators, wearing wingtip shoes since I was little. My mom dressed me up that way because it was different. I was one of the only Mexicans in the town, and it was being sharp, always being sharp. My mom always dressed me that way, and it was always brown and black suede shoes, collar shirts, school, collar shirts, tie on game day. And when I came to the UFC, nobody was wearing suits. Nobody was wearing suits. Right over here in the Tough Ultimate Fighting Center, where it used to be, I showed up with suits, and that's how not suits, but it was a shirt and tie, because that's game day, dude. Any other fucking righteous mindset where you have it, you have game day, where you listen to the national anthem, you go and you do your stuff, but even before then, it's a different kind of representation. And I played sports for 30-some years, 35 years? 35 years, straight. There's not one other fucking athlete that's been competing that long. I guarantee it. I'm still doing this shit, and I'm still at the top of my prime. So there's been a lot of trends that I've seen. I used to get mad when people would do it and I would stop. But fuck no, I've been doing this shit for a long time, so I don't know. If somebody wants to pick up the shades, you see everybody wearing shades now, right? Absolutely everybody being shades. That's cool. Keep it up.
And then my final question, as a teammate, what's it been like to see your guys like Tommy Aaron and Callum Walsh go out there, perform, win belts and everything else?
They're not teammates. They're my students. And I take a lot of pride in that. I handpick who I want to train only because only a certain amount of people besides my kids deserve to have that. If they've worked hard enough, if they've been through a hard time, if whatever it is, and I can hear the bag and I can understand that they understand that it's mutual respect, that they have to show up. And, you know, with Caleb, UFC came up to me, this guy right here, and he asked me if the kid's real. The same thing with the promotion. And it's always about giving an alley-oop to people that really can't see it and that they need it. And I told him straight up, I was like, don't fuck with him, because his family trusts me, and they've taken care of him, and they've done right because he's a good kid. That's Caleb. And they've understood that he knows what he's doing, but he has to be around good people. And the vibe that they give to him and the vibe that they give to the promotion is exactly what they needed. I did my job. but he still looks to me as like a mentor, and it's cool as shit. And he'll always be that way to me. And, you know, he's got his girlfriend, he's doing his own thing, and it's cool as shit, man, to see him where he's at. And then Tommy's got twins. He's got his belt. And it's the same thing. And I used to see him not get beat up, but like he would be world champions training partners. You know, like Anderson Silva, Yoda Machida, and a lot of these guys, but he never got a shot. And I told him, I was like, I have my academy. I was like, show up. And he showed up, tried to break him that one time. I saw that he wasn't, and then it wasn't anymore. It wasn't like that anymore. I wasn't even trying to break these guys. It was cool as shit because they were keeping me where I needed to go, especially with runs, which was really cool. They never asked any questions. And I'm going to be real. I love you guys. Tommy, Caleb, very proud of you fuckers.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.